You are live. I think we're good. Sorry if anybody's in here. This is our first time doing a live stream, so we're gonna see. Hey, there we are. Okay, we're good. We're in.
Yep, we are in.
All right.
It's on. So what's going on? We got 4 viewers. Don't
One might be us, but hey, what do you know?
don't be afraid to send us some comments, and
Yeah.
we want to engage with everybody and see what they think. Let's do this thing. I mean, we got exciting times coming up here. So
Yeah. Not a lot going on in Vikings news, I guess. I mean, we had a couple signings yesterday of Jordan Hicks. Obviously, the Harrison Phillips news has already been live for a couple days now. Jordan Berry got re-signed today. We tendered Greg Joseph, of course. So, I mean, kind of signings I saw coming, but unfortunately, nothing else more than that. I guess technically, let's just. I think they said we're under the cap right now, so we don't need to make any moves today. We got some days to go on decisions on Hunter and Cook, so they might just be rolling with what they got right now. I don't know. I just want to know what's going to happen with some of those guys, but
yeah, I know that's what we have to do is we have to go through that restructure thing or whatever, because we have to create some cap space. I'm assuming that's kind of handcuffing us from picking up more players and stuff like that. So that's something that we have to figure out here.
Yeah.
I know we heard you didn't mention this yet, but the Adam Thielen had he was supposed to have like a restructure pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Which I was expecting to see that today.
Right.
But we haven't seen that yet.
No, not yet, but I'm sure it'll come eventually. But other than that, it's a good day, man. Northern Minnesota, nice and balmy, 47 degrees, wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Things are good. Things are nice. It's crazy around here. 47 degrees turns out being like a heat wave, and it's great. I mean, the low at night is 32. So
right. Well, it's kind of funny because I recently moved back up to Duluth from North Carolina, and it was like 70 degrees when I left there. So this temperature is still kind of cold for me, but I mean, I'm from Duluth, so I get it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but at least the snow's melting. It's a good sign. I got out for a run this morning. That was good. So
yeah,
things are nice.
Yeah. So what are we thinking? What did you want to do should we get into any of this other free agency stuff, or
should we check out some of the news?
Let's do it.
Some of the signings. All right, let's hop into that. I got them up here. Boom. There we go. All right. So as we know, Jacksonville's big spenders so far in free agency. They had they had something crazy. Like, I don't remember how much cap space they had before these signings, but most in the league, obviously quarterback on his rookie contract. That's the way it can be. But the Christian Kirk signing, that surprised me. How'd you feel about that one?
I think that's probably the biggest surprise that I've seen so far in this offseason is, 74 million contract that includes 37 million fully guaranteed and has a max value of 84 million, a max value of $21 million a year for Christian Kirk, a wide receiver who has not been a number one wide receiver yet. I know he always had a lot of potential and he's had some stretches of being really good, but 21 million. And I know, what's his name? Mike Williams from the Chargers got 20 million a year. He got less than Christian Kirk. And Mike Williams had a huge season last year. So I was surprised that he got paid even more than Mike Williams. And, that brings us to which, we can dive into this anymore, but I want to do it since we're bringing up the Christian Kirk thing, was the Devonta Adams news coming here where they offered him a 23 million a year contract that he declined. And you'd think that's a ton of money. Like, why would you decline that? And then you look at how's Christian Kirk getting 21 million a year and Devonta Adams is getting 23 million a year. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to make, if I'm Devonta Adams, arguably the number one receiver in the league. He's not. Justin Jefferson is arguably the second best wide receiver in the league. And you're getting paid $2 million more than Christian Kirk. Nah, I don't think that I can see why he wouldn't want to do that. And hopefully he moves on and Aaron Rodgers goes into next season with Alan Lazard as his number one wide receiver,
but it's
and
just
not
it's
Devonta Adams.
like, it's nuts if you think about right now what receivers are signing for. Just think in 2 years from now, when Justin Jefferson gets to sign his contract, that's gonna be nuts, massive. Like, he might be making $27 million a year.
I know, that's what's crazy. Wide receivers are catching up to these quarterbacks. That's why we, when we talk about, I agree with that. It's
like,
crazy.
He was a number. He had a couple of big games, but overall he's a number 2 receiver on that team. And when he had to step in and be their number 1 guy when Hopkins went down, he didn't really improve much. So
no, honestly, I almost felt like he did better with Hopkins there, because I felt like I think AJ Green had a similar stats to Christian Kirk at that time. But yeah, I mean, I agree. See, it's kind of different. So we talked about this with Kirk Cousins, and the thing is like, for this year, 31 million. Honestly, I want to see a lot more out of him. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think he lived up to his last contract. And as far as keeping him this year, I think it was the best case scenario as far as if we had to keep him. I personally was hoping we'd see a trade for him, but I don't know what anyone was offering, and I didn't want to just give him up for nothing, because the stats are still there. And, we were just talking about, in a couple of years, Justin Jefferson could ask for 30 million years. What is the top contract for a wide receiver right now? I think you said before it was like 27 million a year, something like that. So that's I think that's
what Hopkins is making.
Hopkins makes. So for this upcoming year, Kirk Cousins is getting paid 4 million, or at least hitting our cap with 4 million more than that at 31. And then at that point, it doesn't seem as bad, because, like it's getting to the price any average quarterback is going to make 30 million a year. And that's just kind of how it's going. So it doesn't look like, when we 3 years ago, 30 million a year would have seemed really bad. But right now, 30 million a year doesn't seem as bad, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. I want to know if people we were discussing this beforehand. Had we been offered like 2 second-round picks for Kirk Cousins in his contract, would anybody in chat, would you guys have traded that? Would you guys have done that? Would you have traded 2 second-rounders for Kirk, or would you have at least wanted a first?
I personally would have. I would have done 2 second-rounders. I wanted a first, but I would have done 2 second-rounders.
Looking at this comment here, yeah, Marcus Mariota, he would have been probably the guy I would have liked to go after if we did get rid of Kirk. Because considering, we could have gotten him cheaper, we could have built better around him. Because I don't feel like his potential was ever fully reached at some of the teams he was at.
Yeah.
So,
and
I think it could have been okay. A rookie, I would have liked. I don't think, because none of these rookies, I don't think you want to draft him and put him into that spot right away.
Right.
And I don't think Kellen Mond is quite ready. So, yeah, I see your point. I was going to be fine with whatever we ended up doing with Kirk. As I mentioned before, like, if we kept him, I'd be cool with it. I understand why. If we traded him, I definitely understand why.
I shouldn't want to see a long-term extension.
Right. And we didn't do that. And we lowered the cap for this year, Right. The no trade clause was questionable, but I do think he wanted some say in his future. And, Kirk, he's not going to turn any money away. So, I was just going to say, back to his, is it Nano Joe? Back to your question. Yeah, I personally, like, Mariota, you never know, but I wouldn't say, it's hard to say that Mariota is better quarterback than Kirk, or would do better with the Vikings. A rookie quarterback, I have a hard time believing coming in and doing better than Kirk would this year. But I think the argument for me would be, especially a guy like Mariota or a rookie quarterback, is if you didn't have Kirk's contract at all, we probably would be making more moves right now in free agency, and we could shore up other parts of this team that are lacking. And if that was the case, maybe our team could be better with a Mariota, with a better surrounding cast at a cheaper deal than having Kirk's contract and not being able to go out and getting those players. That would be my argument. So, like, with the same exact team, I don't think Mariota comes in here and does better, but with the same exact team, or with this team, when Mariota comes in
and we went and drafted and we shored up other positions and he had a better supporting cast than Cousins, I would argue he could do better. I mean, last year we still had a really talented team, and what was our record last year? 8
and 9.
8-9. So I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of talent on our team. I think a lot of quarterbacks could probably come in here and make us at the very least an 8-9 team.
Yeah. These last couple comments, I do agree. Front office is the young part. I agree with the nervous. I don't know about that necessarily. I mean, it's Kwesi's first time running a team on his own, which I don't know. So I see your point. And then literally, and I also understand the point of that. It feels like we're running it back with the same team. But my thought has always been that when Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell took this job, they were excited about the talent already on the roster. Mm-hmm. And I'm not 100%, not 100% buying that Kwesi wanted Kirk the whole time. I think he might have came in here with the thought about trading him. But obviously, I think Kevin O'Connell probably told him, he's like, no, I really want him, whatever. But I think the fact that they're switching up the coaching staff, I think that there's something on this team that they can unlock with these guys. I think better play calling, maybe a different defensive philosophy, and making your guys feel, I mean, as bad as it sounds, making your guys feel more welcome to the team, with which I think Kevin O'Connell will be better in that regards and Zimmer would. So I've seen a lot of the running it back again things, but I disagree a tiny bit because I do think there are some interesting wrinkles that we can add to this offense.
I would say I thought going into last season, I thought for sure based on pure talent, I think we have the talent for a playoff team. If we depending on if we cut anyone else, I think for sure we have the talent to definitely be better than a 500 team. So it's just how much was that on the coaching? I don't know. So you could say that new coaching, a new way of especially running the offense and being a little bit more aggressive with the same exact squad could be a completely different team just because of the coaching changes.
But if we do go 500 this season, blow it up. If we go 500 this year after all these things, it's done. Obviously keep Kwesi, keep Kevin O'Connell. Just blow it up, start over. We're the Atlanta Falcons of the North. Yeah, I can see that.
Hey, we're a little bit better than them. Come on, we got Justin Jefferson. We don't have a gambling addict wide receiver, not getting suspended. We got the best receiver in the NFL. We got Delvin Cook, top 5, if not the number 1 running back in the NFL. Right. Yeah, Kirk Cousins we could upgrade there, in my opinion, but I mean, he's not the worst quarterback in the league. He needs to step up on big games. That's the thing. He needs the right supporting cast. That's the thing. But I mean, we got Adam Thielen on the defense. Hopefully we resign Danielle Hunter, Kendricks, Harrison Smith. I think we're better than the Atlanta Falcons. I think we got some talent there, man. We just need to unlock some stuff. Irv Smith comes back next year. I don't know. I think, and then Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers definitely doesn't make this division as easy this year, but Devonta Adams it's not looking good for them there. So hopefully he leaves and Aaron Rodgers has no one to throw to. Otherwise, I still think we're far better than the Bears. And who knows, man? I mean, with a different offense, it could or different offense coaching. I mean, we could just blow up this year. I don't know.
The Minnesota Vikings have a signing.
Hey,
have agreed to terms with tight end Johnny Mund.
Johnny,
cool. I guess
Johnny Mund,
like a blocking tight end. I guess. Again, don't quite understand that one, but I don't know.
Back to the nursing.
Probably means Conklin isn't coming back. He's probably going to come in and take that Conklin role as a blocker.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on with us restructuring contracts and making sure we have cap space to make moves. I think that was the hard thing for Kwesi coming in here is like right away we had some contract issues. I mean, we're negative cap right when he starts here. He has to figure out how to move that money around and plus, I mean, we have to figure out what we want to do with the guys like Danielle Hunter. He's going to ask he'll be restructured for sure at the very least. That's the thing with him. I mean, we should be able to make some moves because we know for a fact he's not making $26 million this year.
Right. Division is winnable. I do agree with Chris there. It's especially if Devonta Adams doesn't come back and some of the sacrifices that the Packers are going to have to make because of Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers' contract. So I do think the division is very winnable. Yeah. excited to see what we do.
Aaron Donald, or not Aaron Donald. Khalil Mack is gone from the Bears. I mean, I'm not afraid of the Bears or the Lions. It was weird if Aaron Rodgers didn't play this year, or play for the Packers this year. I mean, we would have been the favorite for sure.
Right.
But
So Nano Joe, I want to ask you on your last comment there. Now, were you thinking like kind of looking as kind of like a trade to the Colts, where this year we wouldn't have gotten a first rounder, we got their second rounder this year, and then got their first rounder next year, and used both of our picks to move up and get Bryce Young or Stroud? Is that kind of what I assume that's kind of what you're getting at there? Because I could have seen that. That's the one reason I didn't really want to trade with the Colts, because obviously you're giving up. You're not getting a first rounder back in return this year, but I don't know. I could see if you wanted to get a first rounder next year, move up for a better quarterback class. Because the quarterback class this year, we're going to do a video on them at some point later on today. But it does look a little bit weaker. I mean, a lot of the experts are saying there isn't any starter or probably a surefire starting quarterback in the group. And then Chris, I don't know a lot about Johnny Munn. Tell me about him. What is he? I have never heard of him before. Sorry about that. But is he like a good? Is he like a pass catcher or mainly a blocker? I guess I don't know.
Well, that's a thing too this year is, well, if we did trade for the Colts, that would have been one interesting thing, is if we were able to pull a first from them for next year. And then you would have those guys like Bryce Young and Stroud, but this year is kind of interesting because we're in a weird spot at number 12, I think, because there's no quarterback that anyone can obviously say is a number one overall, but I think we have a lot of potential. I mean, they could be good quarterbacks. You never know, because guys like Mahomes, nobody thought he was just obviously a first or a surefire number one overall. So we could have
a lot of raw traits, but not a lot of
raw traits. And there's 5 quarterbacks that could be in the first, second. Saints have traded Michael Thomas to the Washington. What?
Damn. Thanks for the update on that. That
was my potential keeper for next year. They need a quarterback now if I'm going to keep Michael Thomas. Damn. That's actually
Harrison Phillips' signing must have been made official. He tweeted, can't wait to get to work with the Vikings. Thank you very much. That's cool. He's a solid pass catcher, just heard.
Yeah. Michael Thomas is a stud. It'll be interesting to see how he does moving forward. I mean, he got kind of, I don't know, it sounds like he has an attitude problem or something recently. I don't know. Yeah, so I was surprised they were so willing to try to move him. I mean, you're moving Michael Thomas, who literally, he have the record for the most reception in a single season? Is that what it was? Something like that. But he was the number one receiver for 2 years in a row, just literally a couple of years ago. And now they traded him for a 2022 second round pick and a 5th round pick, which isn't a lot. So it kind of shows that the Saints were really wanting to move him.
Yeah, but I
would have expected maybe a little bit more. But.
Well, with the salary cap issues, plus it sounds. I mean, I read a tweet earlier, not sure if it's true or not, but they said a lot of execs around the league are figuring Watson's going to go to the Saints. Is what I had read somewhere. So
interesting that they would move Michael Thomas then, because who do they have at wide receiver? I mean, I could easily see them
$100 million over the salary cap, so they can't really afford anybody. So they got to start dumping those big contracts.
Yeah, I think he'll go to the Browns. And I think that Browns team will be looking really good. You add him, and then now you got Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
I think that could be pretty good.
Could be solid.
But that's another thing with Kirk's contract too, though, is that it is only 1 year. So I'm assuming, man, that Kwesi and all those guys, I mean, they've got to have a plan of picking another quarterback. Either I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they do pick one early this year, because obviously they're not banking on Kirk long term.
Oh, they didn't trade him. So
they didn't? It was a joke?
It's what's this guy saying? Okay, all right. I kind of wondering that. Didn't want Watson. I understand that, especially with how everything, because I mean, obviously, just because he was not found guilty of his criminal charges doesn't that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I love the talent of Deshaun Watson, but obviously with him, you're probably going to end up paying more for him in the long run.
And you're giving up a lot to get him.
Right. But I mean, he does give this team a really good chance of winning now, but yeah, I understand that. I would have been okay with seeing it, but I also understand, just wanting to stay away from that as well. Because who knows, it could come back up later on and something.
Well,
could
I
happen.
mean, if we were able to get him in a package that sent Kirk somewhere, and then maybe like a first round pick and maybe a couple later round picks or something, that would have been pretty solid for us, something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's obvious we're kind of like, I don't know. It looks to me, it seems obvious that we're trying to do a win, kind of a win now. It's like win now, but we also are trying to create something for the future at the same time, which I think is fair. I think that's why you keep Kirk Cousins and use him. And, you know, he already knows the players and stuff like that. And then hopefully, if we don't pick a quarterback, I would in the draft at some point. I mean, we got Munn if they feel that great about Munn, but I don't know. I don't think. I think we have to pick a young quarterback and use him as like a bridge for the future.
Yep. I mean, especially now that we signed Kirk. And I think I said it in our video. It's more important now that we draft that next guy. Like it's like top priority because you got to have a plan for after Kirk, especially if you decide to blow it up next year. Like there's got to be a plan. So.
Yeah, and that's the direction it looks like they're headed. Nano, this is actually our first live stream. So this is our first test live stream. We will plan on, we don't live stream daily. We do plan on live streaming more and more often. Especially once the season starts, we're going to do a lot of stuff like that. Right now in this off season, we're just trying to try new things, figure stuff out, get people watching. And then I know we have a big live stream plan for the draft when that comes around in April. So, I mean, we're going to keep doing this. I mean, especially if we get, you know, solid feedback and stuff like that. I mean, it's cool to have people come on here and be able to have that conversation and get, and I think later during this live stream, I think we're going to do a mock draft on here and a community mock draft and have you guys help us out with that and see if we can come up with something cool. And then we'll even post that out in the next couple of days and have that as its own separate video. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and that bell if you want more notifications.
Hey, I saw.
But hey, man, that works.
Chris,
I mean,
appreciate it.
We're definitely a growing podcast.
Hold up. Are you a Drew Lock fan? I kind of liked him because I know they said he was. You know, they had a lot of there was a lot of hype with him coming out of the draft, and maybe he didn't get a fair shot in Denver with how they did. But Drew Lock, picking Drew Lock from the Hawks.
Pick and Lock from the Hawks would have, it'd been interesting. I think, for one thing, Lock destroyed us in the preseason last year. I was actually surprised. I thought he did really well in the preseason. I thought that he was going to beat Teddy out for that job, even though I was always a big Teddy fan. You know, he's not what I was hoping he was going to be, but he also almost lost his leg. So that's fair.
It's a good story that the guy's still playing football.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool that he's even playing. But I think if that would have never happened, he could have done better. But
overall, I like it. Any other big news coming out at all? I mean, obviously with legal tampering, it's they should just start free agency early. I mean, I know, you know, they should just start at the beginning of the week and just say do what you want.
Right.
But also, what do you guys think about Jeff? Let's talk about Jeff Gladney for a bit here. Obviously, also, I guess the Vikings are going to have a press conference tomorrow at 3:00 to introduce players and maybe some other things. Maybe we'll see. But anyway,
free agency's already over for us, I guess. Press conference tomorrow.
What are because we are, and we'll kind of get into that a little more later. We are under the cap right now, so we don't need to make any moves. I know. I think Delvin Cook's contract becomes guaranteed on Friday, and I think Harrison Smith and Danielle Hunter is Saturday or Sunday or something like that. So we got to make those decisions soon. But yeah, anyway, so no moves are imminent, I guess, or don't need to happen, but we'll see. Anyway, Jeff Gladney. So obviously his things happened. Everything went on with Jeff Gladney. What do you guys think of him signing with the Cardinals now? He's gonna become the next big thing at corner, isn't he? I just have a bad feeling. I need to be up by Dancer before this suspension. That is true. I mean, Dancer did. And then Zimmer, then for some reason, Dantzler ended up in Zimmer's doghouse, which is kind of annoying. I don't really get why.
Yeah, that made me mad. And then he comes in and ends up being arguably our best cornerback last season.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's something going on with Mike Zimmer and our players and the team and the organization and stuff like that. So I don't really know what's going on with that. But yeah, the Gladney thing though, first round pick still. I mean, he had a lot of potential. I thought his whole investigation thing was already over. So I was really surprised to see that he all of a sudden he was not guilty on that. And then he's playing for the Cardinals and they'll probably get a stud cornerback.
I mean, he's only 25 years old.
Is he 20? I thought that's older than I thought he would be.
So he's got a lot of room to improve.
But he definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked him in the draft. I know he had a lot of, there's a lot of hype around him as well. But Titans to release Julio Jones? Figured so. Julio Jones is making a crazy amount of money and not play a lot of games last year.
No, I mean, I like that. I think what draft was that? So we picked Dantzler. I'm trying to think of someone that we could have picked instead of him. There's someone
instead of Gladney.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember. I know that Jermaine Johnson went to the Bears that year. He's had shoulder problems since then, but he was solid. What do we do with this cornerback room? I don't know. I want
to thank Chris for subbing, by the way. I just saw that message. Yeah. Absolutely, brother. Keep coming back to our live streams, man. We want to do all kinds of stuff with community stuff. It's like it's the coolest thing. But back to that, where you
cornerback, I would not mind seeing Patrick Peterson come back. First off, I'm fine with that. Dantzler, if Donatel and who do we hire for cornerback coach? I don't know. If they can maybe, unlock Dantzler's potential, that'd be cool. Mackenzie Alexander does not need to be re-signed. He had a really bad year last year. I'm not a fan of, I was a fan of him, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think they do need to draft a guy, and they'll probably end up getting like a third wave free agency vet. But I would like to see Patrick Peterson come back. Just good leadership. Is he the player he used to be? No, but still better than nothing. Harrison Hand, I don't know why he didn't play more last year. I don't know if he was hurt or something, but he had a lot of potential in preseason. He was like the preseason wonder boy of camp and stuff. So that's an option. Chris Boyd had a nice play against Pittsburgh and then followed it up with a taunting call that shifted the tide of the game and almost lost it for us. So he's got potential too. I don't know. The cornerbacks, it's tough, but that's why I think cornerback is a top need in the draft. Jamie, you want to cover a little more of this? I got to take a step away.
Yeah, I would say I think cornerback it's something we definitely have to figure it out. What we have at cornerback is not good right now. And I was hoping that we still have a chance. There's a lot of cornerbacks out there in free agency, but I was hoping in some way or form we grabbed another cornerback. I think what Casey might have said was Patrick Peterson. There's a solid chance that we bring him back, which I'd be totally cool with. I would like to, if we could get like a Gilmore though, or something like that, that'd have been awesome. But we need to figure that out. And if it was up to me in this upcoming draft, I would go cornerback first round. Probably. It's kind of hard though, because I don't know, with signing Kirk to 1 year, knowing that it's just a 1 year signing extension for him, and we need to figure out someone. We need someone young to come in and be that future quarterback for us. So it's kind of like, do we pick a quarterback this year? Does anybody watching this think we should go quarterback this year and then have them sit under Kirk Cousins for a year and then kind of become that starter? I know we already have Mund, but I think we could always have that competition. I don't know. So knowing that we made that decision with Kirk, it kind of makes me want to take a chance on a quarterback more than usual, I would say. But other than that, I wanted cornerback in the draft. And as far as now, we're gonna do a little bit more deep research into this upcoming draft. But I really liked Sauce from Cincinnati and then Stingley from LSU, which Sauce is probably gonna get drafted pretty high because he had a hell of a combine. And then Stingley could be there for us, and he was a potential top 5 talent as a freshman. So
yeah, and who's the other guy? Sauce, Stingley. Is there one? There's another guy.
And then it's
his name starts with the D. I think I can't. It's drawing a blank.
What is it? It's
McDuffie.
McDuffie is a Washington's cornerback.
Yeah. Yep. Terrence, want to get to yours first. Do you think people trade Danielle Hunter to get cap space and pick, sign better corners? It's possible. I think they're really trying to keep him. I know when when they asked Kwesi about him, he said he definitely sees him as part of the team. I know Ed Donatel kind of said the same. I would like to see us keep him, but if we do trade him, it would be nice to get at least a first rounder for him. I don't know. Maybe teams kind of sense desperation with these type of things, and if you can't come to an agreement, the player kind of has a lot of leverage. The team doesn't. So I don't know. I would like to. I mean, if we're going to trade him, I'd like to get at least one pick. And I mean, obviously that clears up 26 million cap space, which you could go get a good corner. But at this point, kind of the top ones are gone. And I'm not sure about Kyle Fuller yet. Have you heard anything on? Because he had.
I don't think. Wait. No.
Is he still a free agent?
I think he's still a free agent. I don't think he's re-signed or signed anywhere yet.
Zadarius Smith is going back to Baltimore.
Dang. I would say
I wanted Zadarius Smith bad, by the way. Unfortunate.
Dang. I would say with Danielle Hunter, for me, I think we keep him. I think unless we, if we did get a good trade for him, but we need a pass rusher, and guys like Danielle Hunter, I know he has injury history. He doesn't grow on trees, that kind of talent. And the thing is trade him or get rid of his cap and be able to sign more cornerbacks. But the thing is, someone like him disrupts that backfield so much that it helps our passing defense immensely, because the quarterback literally just doesn't have enough time to throw the ball. And I think that's extremely important, because obviously you don't want your wide receiver to have all day. And that was something that did happen last year. I think our cornerbacks were so bad last year. On top of that is because they did have opposing quarterbacks did have a lot of time, because we did lose Danielle Hunter and we weren't getting to the quarterback as much as we'd like. And I think I value a really strong edge rusher over a cornerback, I would say. And I just think they're really talented ones are a little bit harder to find. Really, like, shutdown corners are extremely hard to find, but you can get a solid cornerback easier than you can find like a pretty beast pass rusher.
And the one thing I will say about Danielle Hunter's injuries is I watch a lot. Obviously, I watch a lot of Vikings podcasts as well. I would say the fact that the injuries aren't, like, had it been his neck for a second straight year, then you're concerned about it. The fact that it was a torn pec, I mean, it happened to Anthony Barr the year before. Sometimes freak injuries happen. The fact that they're not connected to each other, it doesn't scare me as much. I see your point for sure, but yeah, I don't know. They don't scare me as much as others may think. And then, what do you think about signing the Rams center? Which one's that? I thought, I know they had their guard that was that Corbett. Was he a free agent? I know he signed.
I think did he?
I thought so.
Is that who it was?
We should trade Hunter for a first and a third and draft a first round edge. If we got a first for Danielle Hunter and a third, I would do that. I mean, especially if you can't come to an agreement with him. I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah,
I do. I believe it's a pretty deep edge class as well. I mean, obviously, I think the first couple, like two of the top guys, are going to be edge rushers. So I would be cool with that. I could see that happening.
Landon Collins released by
the Brown center. I'm a fan of the Brown center. If we could somehow find a way to get JC Treader, I would do that.
Yeah, pretty much and same with the Rams center. We need to upgrade that center spot. And since a lot of Brandon Sheriff was like the one guard that was worth signing, I know we need to figure out. See, that's the thing, is we need to figure out these restructures before we can move along too much. I was hoping to have that figured out by now, but in the perfect world, we at least get one of those centers, and because we missed out on Sheriff and we missed out on Jensen. So we need Bradbury's not working out. No, it's not working out. We need to fix that, and we can't. And then the right guard needs to be fixed too. But I don't think we're fixing that in free agency. The center, one of those centers, needs to happen.
Right. Here's my preferred lineup without looking at draft picks. If we like free agency wise, I would be fine with, you got Christian Darrisaw is going to be a stud. Ezra Cleveland, solid. JC Treader at center. Wyatt Davis at right guard and Brian O'Neill at right tackle. I think you got yourself a really solid offensive line there.
True. Yeah, we still got wide.
The cap space for the trade from Danielle Hunter would definitely be a huge part of it. Like I said, especially if he's not willing to come to an agreement on a contract.
Right.
Yeah.
But even with him, like his rate, no matter what, I think he knows that we're not going to sign him at his $26 million that he wants right now. That's why we need to restructure him. So, because that could go down to like $18 million a year, and we'd save $8 million right there. So that's something like we need to figure out. And I was hoping to have that already figured out, but I don't know. We must be still, allowing people to send some offers for him. But we have to fix that pass rush. And yeah, we could draft someone, but that doesn't mean he's going to come in right away and play well. It's hard since we did this Kirk Cousins signing. It's obvious that we're not ready to just do a full on rebuild. So we kind of need these good players. Otherwise, I don't know. It wouldn't make sense for the front office to re-sign Kirk Cousins that way and then just blow up other positions. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm hoping that they're trying to do the thing where we kind of give one more year, one more last try, and maybe pick up some young guys too that we can use later on. But
I heard rumor wise, it sounded like Davis wasn't in shape completely, is what I had heard from somebody, and that he wasn't. I mean, there was an effort issue. I think I don't remember where I heard it, but that's kind of the rumors I had been hearing.
Yeah, I saw some of that too.
But I mean, the fact that the guy was such a stud at Ohio State. And then very, very true. Former staff did not play many of last year's rookies. It'll be like evaluating
any year's rookies.
Very true. Very true. But especially this last year. And
yeah,
I get it because outside of Christian Darrisaw, everybody else was pretty much drafted for depth, which is why everybody thought Rick Spielman would stick around, because it's like he was drafting for years to come instead of this upcoming season. So I think that was a part of it too. Is like a lot of it was, and I think it will be like drafting two position groups or two draft groups, because you are going to have, I think they're going to try to get a lot of guys from last draft to contribute this year, especially with, Anthony Barr probably not coming back, and we're not getting to Darius Smith now. So you hope maybe Chaz Surratt can step up. Obviously we signed Jordan Hicks, who's a solid player. Eric Kendricks, hopefully he sticks around. So
where did you say Zadarius Smith went?
Baltimore.
You said he re-signed with Baltimore?
Well, he played with them before he went to Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
He went back
interesting. Yeah, that was confusing. Okay, dang, that's crazy. And then Chandler Jones went to Oakland.
So Baltimore has Zadarius Smith and Patrick Queen.
They're always on their game when it comes to defense. I don't know what it is. They're one of those teams that just get all the defense
fine-tuned in depth. I agree. A different play calling philosophy. Allow Kirk or force Kirk to be a little more aggressive with the ball, fix the offensive line. I agree. I think the offense is fine. Defense is where I'm worried about the most. It's just, and we don't really need to, not to be cheesy, you guys really like this channel, really good up-to-date information. Love it. Thank you. We appreciate that. We try to be as up-to-date as we can.
There's no cheesy there. We don't allow that talk on yourself, dude. Yeah, we appreciate it. I'm just happy y'all are in here and we can have these kind of conversations.
Right.
It's crazy off season.
Right. And I've wanted to do like the streaming and like YouTube stuff for like a long time now. So it's cool. I enjoy doing this type of stuff. But back to it, defensively, I mean, because like back in the day, Zimmer's deal was like keep the other team to like 17 points and score 18 and score 20 points.
Go, baby, let's go.
Hold them to 14 points, score 17, win the football game. Our defense doesn't need to be shut down. We don't need to be 14 points a game, whatever. You can allow 21 points. You just got to score more than that, and opportunistic defense, which we did not have. I mean, look at the records we broke for second half, scoring at the end in the last 2 minutes of the half. They did it every game. So it's opportunistic defense. It's right there, stopping them from scoring, especially if they get the ball back at the start of the second half. You don't want them, don't let them double dip on points. Don't let them score 10, 14 points in 2 straight possessions. Stop them at the end of the half. At least go into the locker room with allowing them to score no points. That's the thing. So I don't know, man. I think the defense is what needs the most work. And I'm excited about Ed Donatel. I think a guy I work with was talking about Mike Florio said, because Mike Florio wanted Harbaugh. He wasn't excited with the Kevin O'Connell signing. And he said, why bring in a coach like Ed Donatel on the defensive side of the ball from a losing organization? It's like, he wasn't the head coach, first off. And defense was never the problem in Denver. It was their offense. So I think Ed Donatel is a good coach. I mean, if he coaches the way he talks, because I listened to his press conference, the guy's going to be amazing with this team. So happy. I'm happy we got him, and I hope he can fix this thing. I'm excited to see a little more variety in the front, so that'll be cool.
Yeah,
I want to say Hunter last 2 years, very true. And I'm betting they have an eye on a quarterback next year.
So I want to say Skull Thomas. Way to stay away from the dark side of the Bears. Skull Vikes, baby.
Right?
We're taking over the Midwest all day.
Right. If they have their eye on a quarterback next year, so is that kind of the big two? With Young and Stroud, are those kind of the big two guys going into next season? So I feel like with quarterbacks, like there's always like the big two names from the year before,
Yeah.
and then a third name always emerges. And I like to think of Joe Burrow, who went into 2019, and he was just
Right.
in 2018 average quarterback. 2019 just blew the roof off the place, and first round pick, and look at it, or first overall pick, and look at him now. So
right, and you see guys like Lawrence who, ever since they're a freshman, they're going to be
Right.
number one overall, and it sticks that way all the way through.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like I'm giddy this year for some. We've been diving into a lot of the quarterbacks this year. So we're at 12, and I don't know. I bet you one of the top 5 quarterbacks, at least one of them is going to be a sleeper and is going to be a stud. And I feel like being at spot 12, you could get that. But I feel like you have a good chance of getting a bust too. I would love to wait till next year, but at the same time, it's going to be tough because I don't think we're going to have a bad team next year. Like hopefully we have a good team next year. And even if we end up having a 500 team next year, that's not going to be good enough to get one of those quarterbacks.
So the Johnny Munn deal, 2 years, worth up to $2.45 million. He's here Friday for a physical. Yeah, that's actually, and we kind of knew this with Kwesi. I mean, we named our video about us signing Kwesi. We named it Minnesota Moneyball. So we kind of knew it was going to be a lot of signings like this. So it is what it is.
Yeah, he's finding those sleepers. He's a sleeper guy.
He is. Hunter easiest for structure. I agree. I really like Sam Howell. We actually, before we hopped on here, we were watching some game film of the top 6 quarterbacks, and I am not as high on Sam Howell as others are. The thing I saw with him, at least, we watched his highlights. We didn't watch full game tape. I feel like he was much more likely just to tuck and run right away without surveying the field first. So that's kind of where, my dad always says running quarterbacks get hurt too much, which you can agree. I see that point. I agree with that. He's a developmental prospect for sure. If we got him in the 3rd round, I'd be okay with it. Any higher than that, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I think the Kenny Pickett, Willis,
dude, Kenny Pickett,
Ritter.
I know the hand size comes into it with Kenny Pickett a lot, but watching his tape, I love Kenny Pickett. The guy's a stud. And I wish, and we were kind of we watched Carson Strong's tape too, and I like him. I didn't realize he had the knee injury and was immobile, but guy's got an arm. But he reminds me, I feel like he'd end up being too much of a Sam Bradford type, who just,
I don't want
deep, can throw a nice ball, but
my perfect quarterback. I want a quarterback. I don't want to run. It doesn't need to be a run first quarterback, but I don't want a quarterback that can move around with his legs, something different than we're used to, someone that can avoid pressure and extend plays. That's what I'm looking at. That is what is exciting about this year. It's a lot of quarterbacks coming in, even Bryce Young next year, of course. But this year, a lot of these guys have that like dual threat ability, especially Malik Willis, but he has.
Vikings are not doing shit. It is frustrating. I agree.
Are you a Viking fan? Loaded guitars.
Desmond Ritter. We were really big fans of Desmond Ritter as well. He was our 3rd ranked quarterback, I believe.
We're gonna make a video this week about ranking these quarterbacks.
Should we tank? No, we should not tank. With the signings, it's obvious that they're not going into tank mode. I see the allure of tanking, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Plus, there's no way a new GM and
a new head coach
and a new coach are going to come in and then try to tank. Though, unless they're smart, I don't know. But yes, it's hard, man. Being a Vikings fan is freaking a tough life. Grows hair on your chest.
When I was younger, I was never a huge Vikings guy. I started playing. I shouldn't say playing. I started practicing football in 10th grade, and I started. Obviously, I watched during Brett Favre's first year, so I went into it thinking, "What's everybody hate this team for? This is amazing. It's going to be great. This is easy money. We're going to go to the Super Bowl every year." And it didn't happen that way, but it is what it is. But back to Desmond Ritter. I'm a huge Desmond Ritter fan. I like his size. His size is nice. His arm is good. His mobility is great. We just both agree you didn't see like a lot of pop off his passes, like with a lot of those quarterbacks, just rockets out of their hands, and you just don't see that with him. But if we got him if he was there in the 2nd round at 46, I think is when he picked, I would take him.
Yeah, at 12, I don't know about that. But the thing I do like about him the most, though, is that he's a passing quarterback first. which I really like. And then, he runs second, but he has obviously, because of the combine that we saw with him, he has all the athleticism in the world to, I don't know, to be able to move around, at least in the pocket, and escape and stuff like that. That's what I really like about him. And he's not just going to get off and start running all the way.
I blame AP and Percy Harvin for him in. Yeah, that was a big one. Percy Harvin was such a stud.
Dude, I was the biggest Adrian Peterson fan ever.
Right.
Percy Harvin was awesome.
Honey Badger signed, I'm pretty sure. Didn't he?
I would do that. I would be cool if we got him.
I
don't know if he actually did, but he was like close to. I think him and Gilmore might have been linked to 49ers. I think that's what I saw.
Oh, quick,
which would be crazy.
What vets do you think we will part with? Is it okay? People may hate me for this one.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
If we offload Delvin Cook, I won't care.
I don't know. See, I don't know if I agree with him on that one. His injury history is annoying. It is annoying to see.
Contract is terrible.
But he's a top 3 when healthy, top 3 running back.
When healthy, yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. If
love it or hate it.
But Dalvin Cook.
I mean, there's like a small, minuscule chance that I would trade him. Thank you. I agree. There's like a small chance that, I think Adam Thielen will restructure and stay here. I think second round pick, I'd be fine with trading Delvin for a second.
Yeah, second round pick, I'd feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's one of those positions where I feel confident that if we did trade him, that we just kept Madison and Keeney, I feel like they could hold the load of that backfield pretty well. And that's one of those positions where it's like a lot of teams can do that committee thing instead of having that feature back.
Yeah. What the hell is the Vikings doing?
It's the cap space, man. They got to figure out this cap space. They need this restructures. I want Kendricks restructured. I don't want to get rid of him.
Right. I hope not either. I think he'll be good in this defense.
I don't know, man. It's hard to see any vets go. I don't want Harry to go. That would hurt. Those guys mean a lot to this team, But you got to do what you got to do.
I would not trade up for Sauce Gardner. I think there's enough talent in this cornerback class where one of them will fall to 12 if we want him. I would not, because trading up always requires a lot more picks or players.
Right.
So I would be comfortable sticking. The only trading I would do is probably back.
Yeah, and I love Sauce Gardner, but at 12, if you're gonna trade up, unless it's, I guess you see it with edge rushers and maybe some tackles sometimes. But for me, if we're gonna trade up, it'd be for a quarterback, and this isn't the year for that.
I agree.
I like Sauce Gardner, but I actually like him a lot. Just like everybody, the combine kind of boosted his rating for me.
Right.
But I still like Stingley, whatever his name is, from LSU a lot too. So there's a good chance that he's there at 12.
Yeah, I could see
pull the trigger on him.
I could see trading back no further than 22. We actually did a mock draft. What did we trade back to? Was it 23 or 24?
20.
And
24.
somehow Malik Willis fell to 23, and we
had a pretty good. A couple videos ago we did a mock draft, and mentioning that at some point during this live draft or this live stream, stick around, and we're gonna do a mock draft with everybody on here and kind of go through some picks here with everybody. But
Anthony Barr is actually not under contract this upcoming season. He has a cap hit this season, but he's not under contract. So it's all about if we re-sign him. If we somehow cut Kendricks, I believe we would, and use him as a pass rusher. That would be interesting. Zadarius Smith should have been a Viking. I agree. And the one thing I will say, I want to say it earlier when we were talking about the fact that we're not doing anything yet. I understand. I wanted to give Kwesi time to figure things out. But I definitely do agree with the point that I feel like he took a little bit too much time on the Kirk Cousins deal to where he didn't get enough time to shed some of that cap space and work with other free agents. However, I understand he was kind of left with a mess this season. He took a job where it was messy. So I don't know. I do feel like they're stalling a little bit. I feel like they're really trying to I don't know. I feel like he's trying to clean up the mess that he was left with, unfortunately. Center Bozeman still available. Where's he from? I don't know.
Baltimore.
Is he available? I want JC Treader at this point. I don't know if we'll get him.
I think he's still out there. Pretty much any center signing from us will probably be better than Bradbury. If I'm going to be,
I would have liked to have kept Mason Cole. Honestly, I thought he played really solid, but I understand, him wanting to go
At least
chase
for
the
now.
money. We probably wouldn't have offered him that much. So
No,
maybe
no,
it didn't
no,
work
no,
out at
no.
combine, a little suspect. Was it injury wise, or because I feel like a lot of there's like a trend now where people don't work out at the combine, work out at the pro day because they're more comfortable being in their own
Right.
setting than
And
they
he's
still
one of
go to
those
do the measurables and stuff. But
right. He's one of those players that have enough hype behind him that he could look at the combine as only going to hurt his chances of
right, but
getting picked early.
hype is a dangerous word.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, the thing with him is, well, after his freshman year, he was just looked at to be like a potential top 5 pick
Right.
upcoming or whatever. And then he kind of hasn't played as well. But yeah, I don't know. There's all kinds of like players that didn't work out at the combine, even though I wish everyone just would.
There's a lot of the veterans. We still have no idea. Starting at D, OL, D, OL. I'm missing safety and quarterback. We're so much behind now. Yeah, I see that point of it. I think they're going to try to address a lot of the needs in the draft, but I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I feel like I want to believe that there is a plan. I want to believe he came into this with a plan and that the plan is working and they kind of work behind the shadows. I understand the concerns, but I mean, obviously you knock out the defensive end if we keep Danielle Hunter. He might actually end up being like a stand-up outside linebacker to where you could draft a DN, work with some of the guys we drafted last year who there's a lot of talent there. You got DJ Wanham, don't forget about him. Delvin Tomlinson can rush the passer. You got Harrison Phillips in there. So those two, and you move what's his face to outside linebacker, Danielle Hunter. I think you're good there. Offensive line and corner, yes, they're still very, very suspect.
Yeah, I think when it comes to safety, though, we feel really good about Bynum, and I think he showed a lot of. Obviously, he's young, but he showed a lot of promise his rookie season, and he was one of the few rookies from last year that really late round rookies that really stepped up for us. So I'm really hoping he gets he proves enough to get his shot for that starting spot along Harrison Smith, assuming that we restructure him or whatever. But we'll see. I don't really know for sure, but at the very least, we just have to get more depth at safety.
Yeah. Thomas, question for you. Do you in that group of Vikings fans go out after the Vikings beat the Bears games and wear your Viking stuff? And if so, do you guys ever get threatened? I'm sure it happens at some point. We should have done a total rebuild. Does not make any sense to give 2 years of Cousins and start rookies at every position. It won't be rookies necessarily. But like I said, I think when Kwesi and KOC took these jobs, I think part of it was the roster was talented. They felt like they can compete right away. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Everybody has a different opinion on it. And that's a good thing about all this, but also I've been doing a lot of the Twitter stuff as of late. There's a lot of hate on Twitter, man. There's a lot of hate on Twitter. It's funny. It's funny to read everybody's opinions. And I get it. Everybody should have opinions. It's a good thing to do, but it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I guess we'll know more at the end of the week because that's when a lot of these decisions need to be finalized. So, I mean, if we end up unloading Danielle Hunter for nothing and doing that with some other players, I won't be as happy about it. I'll probably be a little depressed, but it is what it is.
I mean, at the same time, we still have, from the linebacker position, we didn't see him a lot, but we still have Troy Dye, Chaz Surratt. So we have depth there that have potential that haven't really given the chance to see it yet because Mike Zimmer doesn't like to play young guys. And then if we keep Danielle Hunter, I mean, we still have Delvin Tomlinson. We do have to figure out the other DN spot, but we still have Wanham. We got, what's his name from the Bills?
Harrison Phillips.
Yep, Harrison Phillips. Jordan Hicks now add to that linebacker group. The cornerbacks do need some work, but if we get Patrick Peterson again, Cameron Dantzler, we have to do something with that. But if you get a solid rookie cornerback there, especially if you get one in the first round, they could come in and start right away potentially. So I just don't think our team, even if we keep the exact players we have now, our team isn't as bad. It's really not that bad. We still have tons of talent. I think they were just misused last year. I think of anything of real concern, it would be our cornerback and it would be our interior offensive line and, something we have to look into. And I was hoping we'd figure something out with free agency, but I don't think our team is totally bad where we need a complete rebuild yet as where it stands right now. But at the end of the day, obviously we all do want to just win some championships. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they do want to just get a young quarterback and just be able to sit him under Kirk Cousins for a year and then at least have a chance this year. I don't really know. It's hard it's hard to see a new GM come in and a new coach come in with the kind of talent we have. Like guys like Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and just start with a rebuild right off the bat, because some of those players are the reasons why they even came here in the first place. And there's a chance that Kevin O'Connell, just coming off of the Super Bowl, might not have wanted just to jump right into a full rebuild.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, at least we can kind of maybe have a shot next year and then still do the things to rebuild for later years. I don't know.
Yeah. What about offensive line? I think we mentioned that a little bit earlier, that I think sign a vet center. And then Oli Udoh was a complete tragedy at that right guard spot. Hopefully Wyatt Davis works out. If not, you could draft a guy, which I know it's tough to start a rookie at guard, but I hope Wyatt Davis works out, and every other position settled. The two tackles are great. I think Ezra Cleveland's a very serviceable left guard. You could probably improve over him, but he's good enough. It's just center and right guard. So if you can get a guy like Treader, which I don't know if we will, but if you can get a guy like that, get a vet to at least get you through, and then toss Davis in at right guard and hope he can do something, because he's got the potential. I think that'd be fine. Been a Vikings fan since '69 Super Bowl, first game I ever saw. Too bad they didn't win it. Still waiting. But it's funny. Like my boss, he's I believe he's 56 years old. He I'm so positive. I'm like, oh, they could do well this year. He's like, he just looks at me and says, you haven't been around long enough for this. They'll always find a way to break. They'll always find a way to break your heart. They'll find a way to kick you in the nuts.
Kwesi and O'Connell, they know what they're doing. They're gonna bring us a Super Bowl.
So I think Mon and Davis were scapegoats for some of the team not buying into the brass last year. Very well could be, especially with everything we heard. Like a couple of young guys come in and be like, what are we doing here? The fact that the way Zimmer talked about Mon, I didn't think was fair. I don't know. It is what it is. But 3-4 base. We'll need stout front D line. Is Tomlinson, our new DT from Buffalo, enough?
It's a good start at the very least.
It is,
because Delvin Thompson. I think we were hoping he'd play a little bit better, but I think he has a chance to be a Pro Bowl defensive tackle there. And
Phillips is a high character, high motor guy, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, so and the Buffalo loved him. He had almost an 80 grade on PFF. He's a good guy. He's a good player. You definitely can see Kwesi's out here right now just trying to hustle those sleepers at good prices, because honestly, we just don't have a lot of money, but we just have some restructuring we've got to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Drake London at 12. Yeah, I do. I still, for him, in my opinion, I feel like that still could be kind of a reach, which is fine, I guess. But man, I get wrapped up into the best player available type of thing sometimes, especially when we're at like a 12 pick or something, just because usually we're in 20 or something. Yeah. So I don't know.
These last two comments we got kind of go hand in hand. We really need to stop the run. Yes, we do. And, you look at the fact that we started the season with Pierce and Tomlinson in the middle, and our run defense was still ass. So you wonder if part of the problem was scheme. You think it very well could have been. Didn't get much better later on. I thought Armon Watts played well too. Look for him to be a high level backup, rotating in at nose tackle as well. And I believe Delvin Tomlinson and maybe Phillips would probably flip flop at nose, and then maybe they both play in certain situations as well as Armon Watts getting there at nose as well. So yeah, the 3-4 base. I do think that I do think Tomlinson will be the primary nose tackle. Trade Hunter and draft the Greek Freak. I would like that. That'd be good. George Kalafdis, was that his name, right?
Yeah, I think Pierce could have been on it, but yeah.
So I'm happy about that. I was happy when they cut
the injury thing. It just it wasn't the best thing.
Bozeman only 27 and 33rd on NFL best free agents available. I'd be fine with it. It's
get him.
It's a vet center, right?
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that.
Answering the trade Bradbury thing, I don't know if we'd be able to trade him for anything. Maybe someone would take that chance, but I don't know about that. He needs to step his stuff up. Last year, he mentioned something about not playing hard enough, kind of because he knew that he had the job held down until he got benched, and then that kind of lit a fire under his ass. And that's not the mentality we need. especially on the offensive line when you're going
Right.
against fucking big ass D tackles like that.
And Chris, yes, because the non-aggressiveness of the corners is why the Lions got their first win last year. So I definitely agree with that. Like you look at a lot of the completions, you know,
Jeff Gladney was a pretty aggressive cornerback.
Yeah, he was.
He had
but
that.
Like you look at a lot of the
I'll be right back.
completion. Sounds good. You look at a lot of the completions that were on Bashad Johnson Breeland, as well as Dantzler, as well. I mean, Patrick Peterson, I know he was in and out of there, but they left a lot of space in between them. And that was one of the most frustrating things. Almost like Zimmer was afraid to put a little bit of pressure on him, because I think he was worried as well that they would get beat deep. And I think that's part of the reason why he had them play so soft. But then again, I mean, he was playing prevent defense all game, especially, and that's why the end of the halves were so brutal, is because he was playing so soft, allowed them to nickel and dime their way down the field, and then they take a shot at the end of the game or kick a field goal, score some points, and it's frustrating. So I think they just shoot gaps and occupied linemen so Kendricks can crush running backs. Yes, Eric Kendricks is probably one of the best like all around linebackers in the league in the middle there. His tackles are, been team lead in tackles for like however many years in a row now. So I think Kendricks is so good. I hope we don't get rid of him. I know they're talking about him being a cap casualty, potentially, maybe a little bit of restructure there. I hope it's a restructure, but he's already restructured his contract as well to stay here. So we'll see what he does, but I do like Kendricks. And I hope we don't get rid of him. I think he is very good at stopping run. The quarterbacks had a panic in the pocket. Our quarterbacks or their quarterbacks? But ours, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff, man. I hope we do well. I hope we don't have another middling season. Like we said earlier, if it's another 500 season, blow it up and start over, because it's just, I don't know, man. Interesting to see what goes on. Any other big free agency news going on right now? I haven't heard anything. Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu is still a free agent. That's weird. I thought for sure he'd be picked up by now. Maybe he's still debating on where he wants to go. Yeah, Chris Thomason made a good point, saying that signing Munn probably means Tyler Conklin is gone, which is a little bit depressing. I like Tyler Conklin, but hopefully he goes and makes some money somewhere. I'd be cool with that as well. All right.
Yeah.
Mathieu will get banked. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Honey Badger. He will make a lot of money.
Yeah, so does everybody in here like the idea of the 3-4? You think that will help us better with the rush and everything? I think it would be cool, especially if we kept Danielle Hunter.
And that's like the one reason I would almost like to see Anthony Barr come back, is that I feel like fire Zimmer. I feel like he would be a
just hire him and refire him.
Yeah. What were we talking about before that? Was it Matthew?
What was it again? The 3-4 defense.
Oh, right. And I feel like Anthony Barr would be really good in that, because you could just use him as because Zimmer tried to take him and turn him into something that he wasn't. So being able to use him as a pure pass rusher, along with Danielle Hunter, and along with the guy like Wanham as well in there, and Delvin Tomlinson showed he can rush the passer. So I like the idea of a 3-4. I like being a little bit different than what we had with him.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Anthony Barr definitely still has some untapped potential in him, and he's going to end up going on another team and be used better than the way Zimmer used him.
For sure. I agree.
So how are we doing? Anything new, crazy stuff going on? Anyone else seeing anything?
What's the news on Zadarius Smith? A 4-year, $35 million deal, max of 50. Wow.
4 years, $35 million?
Yeah.
They got a
value of 50 with incentives. Kendricks and Hicks are
max value of 50. Still, I would have taken that.
What do we got here?
What the hell?
Do a different look, not a common front, creates missed assignments. Very true. Kendricks and Hicks are used to playing in the 3-4 defense, right?
I don't know. Kendricks never did.
No.
Maybe in college or something.
Hicks is. He is a 3-4 guy.
3-4.
Okay. Is that's what the Cardinals ran? Was 3-4 defense? That's right.
3-4. So that's good. Well, he is an inside linebacker, and if we keep, or he's changed to an inside linebacker, so obviously if we keep Kendricks, that makes it pretty obvious that we are definitely going to that 3-4 base.
And Hicks had 4 sacks in a 3-4 last year, so interesting. Eric Kendricks. UCLA. Okay, yeah. He did play 3-4 in college, which is probably why Anthony Barr is such a great pass rusher in college. Why that's what everybody thought he was going to do, because he played in that stand-up pass rushing role. So,
yeah, I could see it.
So yeah, I mean, if he has experience with it, all the better. If he has experience in that 3-4 defense, that's great. I'm fine with that.
But yeah, you said Chandler Jones went to the Raiders?
Yep, and then the Raiders traded Ngakoue to Oakland.
So
Vegas, not Oakland.
Vegas. The edge rushers, and that's Von Miller's out there still, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we don't have a shot at Von Miller.
No.
I think they're talking about him going to Dallas after Dallas got spurned by Randy Gregory yesterday. Who is now going to Denver. If Denver could pull in
Titans.
What's that?
You guys see that Titans to cut Julio?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, did you miss that?
Yeah, you should listen to me more. But yeah, I mean, I figured so. He was making a lot of money last year, and he was injury prone. Casey Hayward. Now, if they get Casey Hayward, that'd be sick. He's probably going to cost too much money as well. Evaluate Mond and decide next year's class. I'd be fine with. I don't want to bring back Mannion. I heard that's a rumor. I mean, I get it. If he's just going to be a quarterback coach, basically, what's the point of wasting a roster spot on him? I do like the idea of seeing what you have in Kellen Mond, get some new, fresh eyes on him.
Yeah.
Another guy I work with made a great point, too. It's like our assistant quarterbacks coach was a former quarterback at Gerard Johnson, was a former quarterback at Texas A&M. So he has some A&M ties with Kellen Mond there. So maybe they're bringing him in. Maybe he has a former relationship with Mond. Maybe they're going to bring him in to see if he can get the best out of him. So I'd be fine with that. I liked Mond a lot coming out of last year's class. I was happy that they picked him. Just, a young guy and with a decent, took a guy in the 3rd round, not our normal Nate Stanley in the 7th. So I think Mond could develop. And if you're going to have him sit behind Kirk cheap this year, why not? See what happens. If you can get something out of him, great. If you can't, so what? You draft somebody else and move on. So
yeah, a lot of people are writing Mond off already, and we really haven't been able to see what he could do at all.
There were rumors out there that he didn't grasp the playbook very well. So Cordero Patterson, that would be an interesting one to bring Patterson back. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, he'd be nice. He's a gadget player. It'd be fun to bring him back home, but
depends on what his price tag is.
See it happening. Exactly.
Yeah. Casey Hayward, I'd be totally cool with, though.
And I agree with
that. You need to do something like that.
To take quarterback next year, you can sit behind Kirk for a year, which would be good, especially if it's a guy you take and you know that you're going to develop him into something. So
I would be
cool with that as well.
So Terrence, would you be cool with, do you say completely pass on quarterback this draft then? Because that's a hard thing too, is even in next year's draft, unless we get a top pick, I mean, we might not have anyone. It's going to be hard to get a quarterback next year.
Yeah. Interesting. Yes. Okay. OBJ. Yeah. No, that ain't happening.
I mean, I would take it, but he's going to be too expensive.
Yeah. What do you think about? Where do you think Mond would rank? I mean, we watched some tape today. Allen Robinson. That'd be cool too. It sounds like Allen Robinson would go back to Jacksonville or to Detroit, which would be scary. Detroit. Let's talk about Detroit for a second. Let's go to Detroit before we go back to the wide receiver. Before we go back to Mond. That wide receiver core in Detroit's going to be studly. They got DJ Chark. If they could somehow get Allen Robinson, that'd be sick. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who last year, I had him in fantasy football last year. The guy was a stud. He's going to be great. Potentially that Khalif Raymond had a couple big games. He could be good. They got TJ Hawkinson there. Ew. Man, if they get a quarterback on that team, watch out. They might win 7 games.
Yeah, I would back to the Mond thing. I don't know, from watching, we just watched some highlights today. I guess it wasn't too crazy, but I would say at least a few of the quarterbacks looked better on tape to me than Mond did. The only thing with Mond, what it is with him, and maybe it's just the tape, it could just be the tape. It's just he does look very, and they've said it last year, he does look very mechanical in the pocket. Like I don't know, he looks like a robot in the pocket. He just doesn't look comfortable. Who knows how much weight that actually holds on if a quarterback's going to be good or not. But there's a couple of these guys that they look pretty comfortable in the pocket. And I don't know, guys like Kenny Kenny Pickett, he looks like he's been a pro already. I don't know. He looks phenomenal in the pocket. And then, I don't know. A lot of these guys.
I mean,
Desmond
obviously
Ridder.
with Kenny Pickett, the biggest question is the hand size. Baby hands Kenny, or whatever you want to call him, Kenny Two Gloves, whatever it is. But
didn't the Patriots DB get signed already?
JC Jackson, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got
But who for next? I think Gilmore will get signed here soon.
Oh, yeah, is he still out there?
I'm pretty sure. He was linked to the 49ers.
Yeah. I think he was actually number like 4 or 5 in our top 5 free agency wish list video. We already tried Teddy Two Gloves. We did. This is Kenny Two Gloves. It's better.
Yeah,
He's got better arm. He's got a better arm than Teddy did, I hope.
Definitely did. Go check that dude's highlights out. I mean,
like the issue with the small hands is he did have like 30. I think he had like 38 fumbles and lost 26 of them over his time at Pitt.
Yeah.
So
the thing about Kenny Pickett I like is he seems like he's one of those guys who has eyes in the back of his head, and he can evade pressure and extend plays with his arm or his legs. That's what stood out for me. And he can sit in the pocket and take a lot of pressure. We're going to make a video about all of this coming up, but the only knock I kind of had on Kenny Pickett was his ability to stand or to step up in the pocket and throw the ball instead of when the pressure starts hitting him, he immediately rolls out. I was going to say, I mean, the thing with Malik Willis, I like Malik Willis. He's insane. He has a crazy arm, crazy athleticism. He has everything you would ever want in a quarterback, but it's just hard to say. I don't know if it will translate. I mean, the intangibles will definitely translate, but the being a quarterback in the NFL, will that translate? I mean, I don't know. He's, played for Liberty, which is not a huge school. There's not a ton of competition that he's playing every single game this year. But yeah, you could be right with that. I hope so. I mean, if Malik Willis is the quarterback that I would.
He was a close.
I would want.
He was a close number 2 for us behind Pickett.
What's that?
So he was number 2 for us behind Pickett. So.
Yeah, I like everything about him. The only thing with him is, can he? I don't know. He's that gamble. He's that guy you gamble with, and if he works out, you just freaking hit the jackpot. And that's what it is with Malik Willis, because he has insane football IQ, athleticism, the arms there, everything's there. He didn't play against top talent. He did very good in the Senior Bowl. Threw really well at the combine. What else was I going to say about him? I think another big thing with him is, I forgot what I was going to say about him. Forgot.
Well, I'll answer this question. According to Glazer, Deshaun Watson will sign today. We saw that before we started streaming. That whole situation is just intriguing to me. I'm curious to see where it goes. Cleveland, they need to go all in now because Baker, Baker is what Baker is.
Yeah.
But man, if they don't get Watson and Baker demands the way out of town, they're going to be left with nobody. Case Keenum, who knows? Maybe we'll bring on a magical carpet ride. But the Browns kind of backed themselves into a corner in this situation. I feel like, if they get them, that team will be really, really, really good. I know they said Atlanta is a possible destination. I heard the Saints are the favorite right now, but
right.
You gonna say something?
Yeah. The Malik Willis thing, and then I'll jump back right into that. Just his stats. His, against lower talent, he had 62 completion percentage, which is lower than any of these other quarterbacks coming in here, and 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, which is, not terrible, but Pickett had 45 to 5 or 8 or whatever. So that's the only thing. It's like he has that huge boomer bust thing on him, and I would take the chance. I wouldn't be mad if we took the chance on him. Back to
a top corner. I would probably, since we re-signed Kirk, I would probably go top corner. If we had not re-signed Kirk, we gone with some sort of a bridge quarterback.
Yeah,
I definitely would have gone with quarterback. But since we kept Kirk Cousins, I am saying top corner in that position. Didn't we? Jermaine
I wanted
Johnson,
to say,
didn't we draft Jermaine Johnson III in our mock draft, or am I mistaken?
I don't know if we did.
I know we were looking at him though.
But it looks like there's reports coming that the Browns are pretty much over Baker. And they're saying, like, if it's not Watson, it's probably going to be Jimmy G. Well, this one report in particular says Browns want adult at quarterback, is what the report says.
Trying to remember it. We looked at Jermaine Johnson in our mock, didn't we? Defensive end from Florida State. I thought we drafted him.
Might have.
I don't remember, but Jalen Petrie in round 2. What is? I recognize the name, but it kind of escapes me.
Kendricks.
Yeah, since Kendricks has experience in the 3-4 defense, I am absolutely all for him.
Yeah, I want to keep him.
To your value trade scenario, Baker. I think a team would. I think he's probably got maybe
a little bit.
A really, really needy team might be able to get like a 3rd rounder out of him. But if they get Watson, I could see them giving him up for pennies on the dollar, like a 5th round pick or something.
I'm surprised that I actually think think Baker should be doing a lot better, but at the end of the day, he's still a past 1st overall pick and is really young still. So I'm actually kind of surprised that Jimmy G probably has a bigger, more teams are willing to trade for him and can get maybe even more picks from him than Baker.
Jalen, what do you say? Jalen Petrie in round 2. I could see that. Oh, got a special guest at what's up, Cat? As a safety, 2 interceptions last year, 56 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 7 passes defended. Be fine with that. I like Bynum, but I do feel like the safety is one of those positions where we do need to draft for a little bit of depth. So in the 2nd round, if he's available, I would do that. Jermaine Johnson, worth number 12. I don't really necessarily think so.
No,
maybe. I guess
I think we got
that first before I just go talking about people. What did his stats look like? Let's see.
I think
stats.
I don't know.
Hold the phone. Okay, I'm wrong. Oh yeah. Jermaine Johnson from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. 34 solo tackles, 12 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
That's where the name comes up from.
If he's there at 12, it's tempting.
No.
Someone else in the chat might know more than I do. Where's he ranked among defensive ends, edge rushers in the draft class? I guess honestly, we really just started kind of getting into draft stuff like recently. I'm not huge on college players. I'm a big Gophers fan, so I watch them a lot. Outside of that, I hear names, but I don't really know a ton about them, self-admittedly. So Jermaine Johnson, as it comes to edge rushers, where is he ranked? If anybody can tell me that. Yeah, the $19 million cap hit for a quarterback like Baker could be a deterrent. That's for sure. Is that it? That must be his 5th year option price, I would guess.
I mean, I think I think I want a cornerback in this year's draft. Especially if we keep Danielle Hunter. If we don't have Danielle Hunter, then we might have to. I would probably, when it comes to defensive end at our spot, I'm probably going to go towards Drake London if that's happened, unless we can trade up for Aiden Hutchinson.
So number 4. So who's ahead of it? So Hutchinson's up there. That Thibodeau's an edge rusher too, right? I know he's highly thought of.
Yep.
And then, so who's number 3 then?
Probably that. Drake London.
Drake London. Okay. And that Kalafdis has to be close after that.
Who's that?
Huh?
Who did you say after that?
The Kalafdis. So, okay.
Yeah.
Stingley Jr. due to the top 5 pick. Could be.
I'm feeling corner. I think if we can,
I like corner too. I mean, especially if we don't bring back Danielle Hunter and we do bring back Patrick.
That's what I'm saying, Nano. That's what I'm saying.
But Stingley Jr. would be a good pick there. I think we had one guy in our comments say, just forget about Sauce Gardner because he's Kalafdis at number 6. Okay. Because I saw a mock draft where we took him at 12. That might be a little too early, but if you trade back, then maybe. Travon Walker's up there too. Okay, gotcha. But someone said to forget about Sauce Gardner. People think he might be a little overrated. I don't know. Obviously, I think did he have a fast 40? That's kind of why his combine time or his draft stock shot up.
He just had he didn't have the fastest, but all his stuff was good at the combine. His everybody loved his interviews. I didn't
Was
even
he? Yeah, he
personally
was wearing
watch
like
it.
the
This
big.
is what
He was
other
wearing the
people
big
say.
sauce chain, wasn't he?
What's that?
Wasn't he
Yeah,
wearing a
I
chain
think
and some
so.
sauce? Yeah, 4-4,
But he
4-4,
didn't allow a
140.
single touchdown. Well, what he said is he didn't allow a single touchdown throughout his whole college career. And then he says he doesn't plan on allowing one in his NFL career. So you kind of love that confidence. And he's already backed it up in college. So I don't know. I think he's gonna be someone that goes. I think he's gonna be the core. I thought Stingley would be the first cornerback off the board because I didn't believe people kind of have him dropping. I didn't believe that. I still don't believe it, but I think Gardner might have passed him up on that.
Yeah.
So we'll
And
see.
it's
I
a
don't
four,
think we're gonna have a shot at him, but
right. 4-4-1 was the combine time. So yeah, 4-4 something, 4-4-1, pretty close to 4-4. So solid. It's fast.
yeah, I think. I mean, I'd go
This
corner.
draft, I feel like this draft has a ton of potential for positions we need. So
I think
what's
at 12 we're
happen?
gonna someone solid's gonna drop to us at 12. I think I have a feeling we're gonna see an early run on quarterbacks and what people think. I think Seattle and Washington are going to pick quarterbacks, and I think it's going to be Willis, and I think it's going to be Pickett. I think it's
And
gonna go.
I agree with you there. What's going to happen is the team is going to pick Stingley, 2 picks, or snipe Stingley from us. Kind of like, in a way, what happened last year with Rashawn Slater, how we were like, a pick away from getting him. But yeah, that week 18 game was frustrating because Kirk, whatever, we were out of the playoffs, the whole COVID thing, Kirk coming off of that. Everybody was just clamoring to start him on. But no, Zimmer knew he was on his way out. Zimmer wanted to win one more football game. He won us the game. He denied Justin Jefferson of Randy Moss's record. Yeah, so it's
what a
just
dick.
Right. So
what a dick.
But yeah, so I definitely agree with you. They always they do always kind of screw up their draft position by winning a meaningless, and it's always a meaningless week 18 game last week game against Chicago. So
yeah, I know. Chicago every single year. What's with that?
Except the one year we needed to beat Chicago to make the playoffs and we can't win. Sauce, Stingley, or McDuffie. I would be fine with any of those three for sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm standing at right now. Unless, I mean, I don't know. If we picked a Willis or something, I'd be jacked up. It probably wouldn't be the smartest play, but I'd be like, that potential is crazy. And if he turned out, man, I mean, that guy has literally he's fast, athletic, and a massive arm. But otherwise, yeah, I think cornerback. Because the thing with that is, especially, that's why I was hoping for sure we'd figure something out with our offensive line and free agency. Because I think the center and that other guard spot, unless Wyatt Davis comes in for sure, is our biggest needs. Yeah, cornerback, O-line. I would say D-line, mostly defensive end, especially if we don't get Hunter. Then that's if we don't keep Hunter, that's a massive hole.
And then I would put safety as a deep need just for depth as well.
Right.
Yeah, McDuffie is they're not going to pull the trigger. That's true.
I don't think so. I think it will come down to best player available at that point.
But I do think he'll be available at 12 because obviously in the top 12, you'll see those two. You got the 2 edge rushers. You'll see 2 quarterbacks jump up. That's 4 picks. There's 3. If you think about then, there's 3 corners. That's that puts you up to 7. So 5 more big name players up there that might get picked at more positions of need for these teams. And I think there will be a corner left at 12 if we want them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think, and I mean, I'd rather it be Sauce Gardner or Stingley for sure over McDuffie or whatever. I don't know, however you pronounce his name. Personally, I'd rather see that. But I just think, like I was going to say is, if we keep Hunter, I think we could do something with our D line still. We still need more pass rushing. Other than that, though, I think we need if we can get a good rookie cornerback and we fill that cornerback role. I think our cornerbacks can be solid if we get like a Stingley, or let's say we had Sauce Gardner back there with Patrick Peterson and Dantzler. And then I just feel like we need to get one of those centers out of free agency and then move Wyatt Davis to a guard. And I feel like a lot of our holes are not looking too bad.
Okay, I need help here. How do you turn on Super Chat? Like I said, first stream. I'm sorry.
What are you trying to do?
Any ideas?
To do what?
Super Chat.
What's that?
Let's see.
Turn on the Super Chat. I'm not really sure what that is. I'll Google it real quick. Luckily, we have Google. That's a good thing about doing live streams.
Bringing a rookie and develop him under Patrick Peterson. I'd be fine with that. I would agree with that. Never mind the cat meows in the background if you can hear that. We'll get that turned on here. I just got to remember how.
What is it? I've never even heard that.
It's like
Something
a
new.
way that, I mean, from what I understand, it's people like they tip to get their comment, like either like to pop up on your screen. I guess I don't know for sure. From what I've seen, other streamers like it says someone put something in the super chat, and then you like it kind of it's like the top comment, and it's
I got you.
But I don't know how to turn it on.
Yeah, I'm liking the Pat P sign for 5 to 6 million.
He did, or he did, or we should.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'll take that.
Let's go.
He did?
No,
he did?
I said if he did, let's go.
I was like 5 to 6 million for Patrick Peterson. I'll take that all day. I don't know. I'll do that. I don't know if he'd do that because we just paid him 10 mil for 1 year last year, I believe. But yeah, I think bringing in a rookie cornerback and develop him under Patrick Peterson and we already have Dantzler on the other side. I think that's a good route to at least shore up that cornerback position for now. And then, yeah, with the guard spot and maybe some edge rushers. I don't know. I don't think we're too far off from being at least good, but I'm not convinced Kirk Cousins is that championship quarterback. That's going to always be my thing with him. I don't know if he can do that for us, but looking at him as more of like us not sucking and having a young quarterback under him that we can use him as the bridge quarterback, that sounds not so bad to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that super chat thing quick. I don't know how to turn it on. Rooks.
No, Nano could be right here. There's so many things to this where you have to do a certain amount of things just to be able to add something like a super chat. But I know we definitely have to look into it. Yeah, I mean, really, we just pop it on here to give it a test go because we wanted to do something kind of cool for drafting.
In order to do super chat, you gotta be monetized. You gotta have 1,000 subscribers first.
Hit that subscribe. You hear that? We need 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe. Let's get to 1,000. Let's go.
We're at 250 right now. We've been doing this podcast thing for about 8 months, and we're already up to 250.
But we've been gaining some steam of recent. In the last couple of months, we've really been pushing, and hey, we've been working hard on this thing.
Yeah. So if you guys want to help us get that super chat open, like tell your friends.
Hit that subscribe. Tell your friends. Hit that subscribe. But yeah, no, we're excited. We have later this week, I think we already mentioned it, but I'll mention it again probably, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. Today's Wednesday. Yeah. We're going to release our top 5 video for the quarterbacks for this draft. And then each week we're going to probably pick a position group for the draft and kind of do a top 5 thing for each one.
You're the best Vikings YouTube channel, in my opinion. Not a lot of streamers for this team. Thank you. We appreciate that. We try hard. When we first started, actually, if you go back and watch our old videos, it was just Zoom. So it was literally just us two using like a fake background that didn't work very well.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Jamie, this guy that he works for, he used StreamYard and he brought it up to me. We decided to use it, and it's so much more user friendly. You can share what's on your you can put visuals in much easier than doing overlays in OBS or something. So yeah, it's really been working. And before we kind of started pushing for subs, we really wanted to
just get better at this and grow
better content,
make it better.
Right.
But it's working, and we're gonna keep pushing. And we have big plans with this, and we keep getting better. But we plan on doing some giveaways and all types of stuff like that down the road here. We're just trying to figure this all out.
Gonna make some merch soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll get some merch and all that good stuff. And we're hoping by the time we're going into this next season that we're kind of ready to really step it up here and be even better and definitely with the community and get everybody involved. That's one thing that we really want to do with this podcast is just being very involved with the community, because it's really cool to see other people's opinions on the Vikes and being able to answer questions or even just ask questions. And a lot of you guys, we just decided to do a podcast and stuff like that, but a lot of you guys obviously have a ton of knowledge on this situation too. So it's really cool to have everyone come in here and be able to just chat Vikings.
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun. And it was kind of, a good match because we actually met, like, started becoming friends in college. We were like two guys in the class wearing Vikings jerseys. We went to a school on the border of Wisconsin, and
in Wisconsin,
but it was close enough to Minnesota where there are other Vikings fans. But that's how it started. It was a good season. It was a bad season too. It was the year we started out like 6-0, and then ended up sucking by the end of the year. But yeah, I don't know. And then from there it kind of grew. It started because I actually I haven't put much on it as of late. I started my own YouTube channel doing some gaming stuff and some other random stuff. And Jamie's like a marketing expert basically, and he reached out, wanted to do a channel, and boom, there you go. Do you have opposing views, or you're both in lockstep on things?
I would actually say, and we don't do this on purpose. We come on here and we just talk and have conversations. So we end up having a lot of same opinions, but it's not on purpose. It's just, we just do. I think we're pretty like close to just the general population of Viking fans or something. I don't know. I would say
we actually have a tiny bit of a
difference
opposition on Kirk Cousins.
Cousins.
I'm not a Kirk Cousins stan, but I think he's good enough with a good team around him. And I don't know. I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm at views. Yeah. So we have opposing views on that. And it's nothing crazy. I mean, we're even kind of close. Starting stuff.
You trying to draw?
Yeah, just like, fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. Kirk. You like Kirk? I just think I think Kirk Cousins is above average quarterback. I don't think he's worth the money. The money that we gave him now, at least like the cap hit, $31 million. That doesn't seem like that bad to me, but I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem that bad, $31 million, just because a lot of quarterbacks are making that now. But his original contract was definitely not worth it. I'm not convinced he's a guy that can win those big games. I would have preferred a trade. I wouldn't have given him for nothing. I'm glad we didn't just give him for nothing, but it does worry me that someone offered us something, since there's a lot of teams that needed veteran quarterbacks, and I'm hoping we didn't leave something big on the table. See, 20 mil, but not 30 mil. I think you could be right. I'm not surprised he's getting 30 mil though. I mean, did Derek Carr resign yet? We're still waiting for him. Nope. I think he's going to get well over 30 mil. I'm not even saying, Derek Carr, he wasn't that, other than last year, he had like 4 years in a row where he was just a below, average at best quarterback. He kind of stepped it up again last year, but
he still kind of is average at best quarterback. And
that's what
I'm going to look at Christian's comment here where, he says Kirk 20 million, not 30 million. I think Kirk is worth 30 to 35 personally. But aside from that, you say the leader in the locker room thing. And I do feel that. I feel like I don't know. He leads with but he's not a vocal leader. And Derek Carr, that is the one thing about Derek Carr that I think sets him apart from a lot of quarterbacks. The guy is just a phenomenal human being and a phenomenal leader.
He is.
And I think that is something Kirk is missing. If he could have that attitude, Kirk Cousins can unlock a whole new potential. So
yeah,
I
don't think that's happening now.
Speed, big difference. Very true. Very true. Very true. Because I know I'll go back to an old pick of ours, Laquan Treadwell. It was slow as hell in his combine, in his 40 time. But I think a lot of people said that he played faster on the field. Now it's not true, or it ended up not being true. But it is what it is. Cousins makes way too much for being a 500 quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It is a straight up bump. Okay.
I see. That's where I'm going. I think
there's a lot of people that say the quarterback win stat, which is mainly Kirk stands, that kind of point out that wins aren't a quarterback stat, which in a way they aren't, because you do got to have a good team for that.
Right. It takes more than that. They're the most important.
There is a way you play with, there's a way you play against the big time teams, and he does kind of, sure, wins aren't a quarterback stat, but he has kind of, curled into a shell in some of those big time games. You really saw him come out of it. You really saw him kind of come out of that last year against Chicago, or 2 years ago for his first Monday Night Football win, but you don't see it enough. In certain situations.
I would say
I see your point there.
This past year was the most impressed I've been by Kirk, because in the beginning of the year, he was, getting the 2 minute, winning those 2 minute drills and all that stuff. But like I've said before, is when it came time to win those games that we needed to win to try to make a playoff push, his stats went down. Like even all the Viking fans that are hardcore stat people when it comes to Kirk Cousins, if they looked at his stats when in the games that really mattered, they'd see that they weren't very good. All his stats that like his stats were kind of inflated in games that weren't very important, in my opinion. But
we have Stingley's DB coach on Viking staff now. Cool. Too many 3-and-outs, guys. Checkdowns to Ham all day long. What a joke. Yeah.
Hey, we don't.
Okay.
We don't talk about CJ Ham in here like that. That's my boy right there.
Well, he's not talking shit about Ham. He's talking.
I know. I'm just kidding. But no, you're right.
That's why I'm curious to see if those checkdowns were just because of the coaching philosophy. If he comes out and plays the same he did last year with these new coaches, and I am 100% in on just whatever. It's just so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, if he keeps checking it down, then it's time to move on from him.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of that can be on the coaches. We don't know. I mean, that's the idea that it was on the coaches. So next year, if it's still going like that, then it's kind of like, oh, it was Kirk. And by the way, I wanted to say, since you mentioned the CJ Ham thing, the reason why I say that is I graduated high school with CJ Ham. So we're always on the CJ Ham fanboy. I'm always on the CJ Ham fanboy. I have to. That's my guy right there. So
it doesn't matter if Kirk's good, great, or terrible if they don't address the O-line. Mistake extending him. They know Kirk's traditional quarterback. Yes, he is, and he. I mean, you can't say it about every quarterback that they can be good if everything's perfect around them. There's a lot of quarterbacks that can't do that. Kirk is one that can, but the O-line, if that doesn't, at least if the middle of the O-line doesn't get better, then it's not going to get better. So, do you think he played more defensive / conservative because he didn't like Zimmer and wanted to get stats and completions and yardage, and then people will blame coaching for Cousins checkdowns, but the OC isn't implementing checkdowns into his plays, which all 22 take wide receivers are constantly open, and Cousins checks it down like it's scared. I can see that because I think there was actually one game where I think he had Thielen open farther down the field, and he took the throw to CJ Ham in like the check down area. So, and that is another thing about Cousins too that people do bring up, and I do agree with, is I thought he played better in spurts this year than he has in the past, but he doesn't want to, because he knows very well when he signs these contracts that the stats are a big part of it. So he doesn't want to take an aggressive shot because he's worried about the stat. He's worried about the interceptions. So I do see your point there where I think he is afraid to ruin his stats, which is why he'll check it down a lot. But you just see the potential. Like earlier on in the season, he was making good throws, but then at the end, and Jamie kind of brought it up after the Packer game. He mentioned himself, he's like, oh, so maybe, some risky throws I probably shouldn't be taking. And it changed him after that. So
it's a mental, man. He has the arm strength. He has enough athletic. All right. He needs a little bit more, but he can do the job. He has the skills to get the job done. What I saw last year was, I think one of the biggest problems with him is last year whenever he was in those 2-minute drills, we were getting downfield and he was scoring the ball. I think the problem with him is, it's because we needed to go down and score. So that's the reason why now he has no choice to play aggressive or we lose. But it seems like mid-game or other parts of the game, he just plays so conservative because he doesn't have that fire lit under his ass like you need to win. And he's just too worried of throwing an interception and stuff like that. And I just have a hard time believing that you're going to make it to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl playing like that because, I don't know, if you're playing not aggressive enough and you lose one game in the playoffs, you're out. You have to win those games and not it shouldn't end within 8 points every single time. A lot of that stuff is on the coaches. But some stuff I think is on Kirk. And I think next year will be real telling. And hopefully Kirk proves us all wrong and he ends up being a breakout or something.
But and Joe, I do agree with your next comment. All the more reason not resign him. He's selfish, which again, I can see that to where, and he's kind of shown that with he did do a quasi team friendly thing by lowering his cap number, but also he got the no trade clause put back in there. So I definitely hope, the Jefferson demanding a trade thing is scary to me. I really don't want to see it happen. I'd love to see him be here his whole career because the guy's going to be an absolute monster, which is why I do think that if it doesn't work out this year with Kirk, then they do need to move on. But at that point, Jefferson's got one more year left on his contract and you're rebuilding after that then. So
Yeah, it makes things
Yeah,
tough.
I don't know, man. It was a tough situation for Kwesi to. I mean, he knew what he was getting into, and he took the job too. It was tough. You guys do better than most pods that I listen to. Thank you. We try. We really try to make it. We try to make it good. So
we're gonna keep making it better.
Yep.
That's our goal. Keep making it better. Keep dropping content, which is what we do every single week. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, that is actually, I didn't really think of it like that, because by the time Jefferson's contract needs a contract extension, we'll have 2 more years of Kirk. So he kind of has to step it up. Even though it seems like a lot of the Kirk, Justin Jefferson beef was bullshit, according to him during the Pro Bowl, but we'll see.
Yep. Mahomes and Kelsey took pay cuts last year to help their team salary cap. Because never take pay cut down to 10 million. So not I agree. He's out here thinking that dropping his cap hit to 31 this year and 36 next year is team friendly. Which, I mean, I don't know.
It's cap friendly for the next 2 years, but then we owe him $6 million for the next 2 years after that when he's not actually on contract. He is. I don't know that dude's a hustler. I don't know. Like, he might not be the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's one hell of a hustler. I'll tell you that much.
And his agent, man. I think the only time he ever took less money was to come here instead of New York. New York would have ripped that guy apart. Oh my God. I think Bradbury did well of being benched. I wonder if the coaches saw that as well. I think we need a guard more than a center. I could see that point as well, because I know a lot of people were thinking that maybe with 2 better guards around him, that would help him play better. And Udo was just he looked good in the preseason, but he was a failed experiment in the regular season. He started out hot, and then everything else kind of came into it. It would be interesting, and we'll know soon enough if the coaching staff sees a lot in him with the way that they kind of take it in OTAs and training camp and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to watch, and that might even be like the top thing to look for in training camp, is what that offensive line is going to look like. So. And that's just, I don't know.
Let's just be happy that we got our tackles figured out, though.
Yeah, right.
That's worth being happy. And I feel good about why am I blanking his name? Left guard. Left guard. Cleveland. God. Yeah, Cleveland. I'm feeling pretty good about him so far. I mean, he started off kind of slow last season and then turned it up a bit towards the end of middle to the end of the season. So I'm excited about that. So at least the offensive line is going into the right direction. If we can just find at least one more good piece for that, and then a solid player somewhere there, I mean, we should have something good brewing on that O-line now.
And Joe, I see that point as well. And I think I want to know why it took so long to figure, because you got to think when they interviewed Kwesi that they talked about Kirk and they had an idea what they were going to do. And maybe, who knows, maybe Kevin O'Connell getting here late, kind of being in his ear about Kirk changed things. I don't know. But I do feel like it took him a long time to get this deal done. And it's taken him even longer to do things with the other part of the roster. So I do see your point there, is why we're not signing anybody good. Because it's hard to promise money that you don't have. So I see that point, and it is a little bit concerning for sure. So Wyatt Davis will get his chance. I heard that he's working with a real pro trainer to get ready for the start of camp. I hope he does get his shot. I think the guy's got a lot of untapped potential. So I would love to see Wyatt Davis get his shot. He's got to be better than, a bench guy. He's got to be better than freaking Dakota Dozier, right?
Yeah, which we got rid of him pretty quick.
We did.
At least which is good.
I don't even want the guy for depth. I don't want him at all on this team.
No, I'm good on that now. Any more? Just no news updates. Landing spots for Baker. So it seems pretty much like he's out the door. I mean, if I'm the Browns, I give everything I possibly can for Watson at this point. Probably. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, nothing crazy.
No. Any opinions on who's won free agency so far?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Has anybody really won it yet? I'm convinced Zimmer didn't like rookies, and I was one of his biggest fans. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
I'm hoping so.
And a lot of people think with rookies, maybe it was kind of part of his beef with Spielman, is what people are thinking. He didn't want to play the people that he drafted, at least the ones he didn't like have a say in drafting. Oh, so I could see that point as well, but I'm happy. I'm happy we got a little bit of a new regime here. I think it was very well needed. You think Jaguars won free agency? They had signed a lot of players. I don't know if I would necessarily say that they won, but
who's that? The Jaguars? See I don't know. I like what they get in Brandon Sheriff. That's obviously smart. They needed some offensive line help bad for Lawrence. Christian Kirk, they need wide receiver help, but him at 20 million a year, I don't know how I feel about that. That seems, I mean, we already mentioned it earlier in this, but 21 mil a year for Christian Kirk doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he was a second receiver at best for Carolina. Jigger is one, but spent ridiculously. Kirk is making a lot. Yeah, exactly. I want Honey Badger, but that's not realistic. I would take him in a heartbeat too. Yeah, it's probably not realistic. I don't know. We need to do something. We need to get someone. We need a solid cornerback. I mean, I think that we'll end up just re-signing Patrick Peterson at a solid deal, but we need to do something. I mean, we have to do something with restructure Hunter's contract because we'll save some money there, or give him an extension. We're not paying him 26 mil this year. Adam Thielen, there's reports that we had a restructure coming up with him soon, and I haven't seen those yet, but we have to figure that stuff out. And I'm hoping we can at least get one solid guy that we can be excited about. Otherwise, because I mean, other than that, like the Jordan Hicks and that the Bills defensive tackle Harris, right? I don't know, I forget his name every time for some reason. Like those are solid guys, but I want one good guy to make that, to have a good free agent or call it a good free agency.
We are under the cap, actually. We're $256,000 under the cap right now. So we
can't even get veteran minimum.
Seahawks won that trade with Wilson. I would say so. I mean, it was obvious after last year they weren't ready to compete even with Wilson, even with the receivers they had as well. So, getting some draft capital to kind of start over, I agree with that. I do agree with that point. I do think that they won the Wilson trade. Denver kind of is in that cycle of getting a veteran quarterback, sucking for 7 years, and then getting another veteran quarterback and hopefully winning a Super Bowl, and then just rinse, repeat. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Guard, center. I can see. Generalized interior offensive line plus corner, and then maybe it depends on the Daniil Hunter situation. If he comes back, the need for an edge rusher is a little bit less, but I think Barr is gone. I do agree Barr is probably gone as well.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see what he could do in this type of defense. But I mean, maybe if Daniil Hunter goes, maybe they do maybe that's why Barr hasn't signed anywhere yet. Maybe if Daniil Hunter's gone, maybe we do bring back Barr to be that pass rusher off the edge. I don't know. There's options.
I don't know. It does seem like something weird's happening. Like the fact that we haven't went through restructures and all of that. I don't know. Something seems to be brewing here. I don't really know. Hopefully it's something good, but.
Would you guys have been open to trading for Watson, or is that too much baggage? Damn, imagine him with Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, Osborne. Yeah, I was on the go get Deshaun Watson back.
Yeah, I was definitely down for that.
Yeah, I would have been down. I understand the concerns because there still could be potential punishment from the league, but yeah, I was in on Deshaun Watson. I'd have been sick with that. I'd been fine with that.
Our team,
we might not have been able to keep Cook and Thielen if we did bring in a guy like that. So I guess his money was pretty similar to Kirk's though. So I don't know. It would have been interesting.
Deshaun Watson gets paid just as much as Kirk.
But then also it's like I feel like you would had to have gotten rid of in the 21 legal cases. Yeah, that's part of it as well.
Well, is he still going through that? Is he like
there's still civil suits that are happening. He just didn't get charged criminally. So he still could be punished under the league's personal conduct policy. Right. With a little bit of that. We tried for Watson. They wanted too much. I would believe it. I mean, I know they wanted 3 first, but if they would have,
they wouldn't take Kirk Cousins into a first round pick, I guess.
If we would have pulled the trigger on Watson, we would have had to done something with Kirk first. Because if you trade for Watson, then Kirk's gonna know he's out, so he's gonna be demanding I guess he didn't have a no trade clause, but teams aren't going to be offering you much because they know you're going to be selling low on them because you got to get rid of them. So
right.
Interesting situation. I would have liked to have seen it, but it is what it is. Hope Barr is gone.
I
don't think we have fully seen what Barr is. I think Barr could make an amazing pass rusher.
I like Trent McDuffie. I would rather have Sauce Gardner Singletary, right? No.
No,
Singly. I can't even say his name right now. But I'd like them better at number 12. I think Trent McDuffie at number 12 might be kind of a reach. I guess it depends on a person's opinion, but we'll see. I wouldn't be mad if that happens. I really think we need a cornerback. But
yeah, Joe, it's a very touchy situation for
way.
sure. I don't know exactly. You're right. We'll never know. Nobody other than Watson himself and God, as you said, will ever know the true story. But I mean, if you got to go off what the legal system is, right? I mean, that's kind of look at Jeff Gladney. That's kind of everyone thought he was dead in the water and never touched a football field again.
And now he's on the Cardinals.
Not charged, and now he could be playing football again next year. Yeah. He might become a really good cornerback. So it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject that it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see because he will end up somewhere. Someone will trade for him and they'll give him what they want. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there for sure. So
yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like he'll be playing sooner than later, I think. And teams obviously are willing to try to trade for him now. So it's really weird though that he gets to go around and meet with teams and stuff, and kind of get the choice to where he wants to go.
He has a no trade clause.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, he does have a choice on where he wants to go.
But is he allowed? But the Houston's allowed to just be like, nah, like nope, we don't want that one. I don't know.
Well, they can, yeah.
Right. I don't know. It's like a weird.
I think they'll end up getting, because they were comfortable with him just sitting on the bench last year. I had heard that conspiracy theory going around as well. Someone said maybe the team was in on some of those accusations. It was, yeah. I don't know, man.
But that wouldn't be smart for them because they obviously that they didn't even get to use him last year, and it would blow up his trade value. I mean, if they would have been able to trade him as soon as he said that, it would have been the most value they would have been able to get for him was at that point, probably. So, right. I mean, I don't think Houston, anything with Texans would do something like that.
Because they kind of backed themselves into a corner with that too. Because before the news came out, he said he wanted out, and they said they were adamant they were not going to trade him. And then all that stuff happened. And then, I don't know. It's an interesting subject. It's a very interesting subject. The Vikings should get some compensation for the Gladney thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You don't get compensation for anything.
But they straight up cut him, unfortunately. So it's
right. The Browns got compensation just because we got Kwesi.
Yeah.
Where's all our compensation for all the offensive coordinators that got snatched from us?
Yeah, that did happen, but I don't know. The whole new situation is interesting as well. You never know. But if he comes out and he ends up being this absolute stud, then it is what it is.
Yeah, which he could be. I mean, he's first round pick, and he had that aggressiveness that you like.
And most of them left because of
Zimmer. Well, you're actually not wrong when it comes to like the North Turners and stuff like that. But
yeah,
as far as Stefanski, obviously he was
because Stefanski. That's because I think Stefanski was that type of coordinator too. I think he liked that system. But it was weird because normally a guy like Norv Turner is not just going to walk out midseason. Gary, and that's why I think he liked Gary and Clint Kubiak so much because Gary Kubiak liked his style of offense, and Clint Kubiak was so green, Zimmer could kind of keep him under his thumb, be like, oh, no, we're doing this. That's why he hated John DeFilippo, because John DeFilippo was like, no, we're passing. And Zimmer would take shots at him during press conferences. Be like, he wouldn't directly tell him he got to run the ball, but he would tell the reporters that, would anyone take a pay cut to hire more people at their jobs?
Would anyone take a pay cut to hire more people at their job?
And I've seen that take as well, but we're also talking like a guy that's made millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I see your point, but I think we're looking at a different it's different circumstances here to where if he comes out, if he takes a little bit, and it's not even like necessarily a pay cut, but if he were to have taken something more team friendly and won a Super Bowl, then I'd have been fine with paying him all the money after that. If the guy brings us to a Super Bowl, why not? Or someone will pay him that money. So I think I don't know. I see your point though. I definitely see that point. I've seen that on people toss that around on Twitter as well. But
would anyone take a pay cut? So what do you think? We're getting on 2 hours here. Think we should try to do a mock draft?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So let's set the precedent for this mock draft first off. So, go off basic assumptions here. Assumption A is that Kirk Cousins is our quarterback. So a quarterback doesn't become a first round need. If there's an intriguing option, we can still jump on it. Fine with that. How do we want to? Do we want to assume that Danielle Hunter will still be with the team, or do we want to do a situation?
Let's say Danielle Hunter's on the team.
Okay, so say Danielle Hunter. We'll keep all of our signings with the linebacker, with Jordan Hicks being signed. We'll say Kendricks is still here. The roster will be constructed the way it is right now with these signings. So, yeah, I got to remember which drafted let's see. Remember which mock drafts in? Do you remember which software I used last time? See if I can find it here quick. It was Pro Football Network.
So we'll do like a 3-round mock draft.
Yeah, because we're still not any chance the Vikings are in on Stephon Gilmore. I hope so.
I hope so.
I would definitely like Stephon Gilmore. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
If we don't bring back Patrick Peterson, I would definitely be down with that. But yeah, so we're not really we don't know all the deep prospects. So we are just going to do
we need the help from the community. That's what we need.
Yeah, we are going to do a 3-round mock draft. Trades are available. We got some trade offers last time. Let me pull this up here quick. We got some trade offers last time we did this actually. So
does everybody see this all right? Let me know. Let's pick the Vikings. 3
rounds. We want to go slow so we can actually take, or just want to go normal speed?
We'll go slow. Can we speed it? Yeah. I mean, how long is slow, do you think?
Well, how long did it take us last time? It was like a 20-minute video?
Well, or I think slow would be like the other team's picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, their other team's picks was quick. It was just us talking about it.
Do you want to do normal then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. So start off. Do we want to think about trading up? Drake London if Drake London would be pretty sick, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough, especially. I mean, if Thielen somehow gets traded or cut, then I could see it, but I don't know.
Let's see what happens. We're at this spot here.
Yeah. All right. So we're picking 12. If there's or do we just want to stick and pick? Maybe trade down, not up. I would say, because in a traditional sense, I would not want to trade up.
Yeah.
Nah, no trade.
Nah, okay, no trade. Not at least right now.
I agree with you. All right, let's see it's probably going to Thibodeau. Yep. Garrett Wilson.
Whoa, Ryan? Pause it. Gardner's gone already?
With all this stuff going on, Detroit's going to take a receiver too. Like, excuse me? All right, well, whatever. Aiden Hutchinson,
take it. Evan Neal,
Jordan Davis, Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is a very intriguing prospect. Oh, so Sauce Gardner and Stingley are both
gone. Malik Willis.
What? That's a normal 11. Pick.
So what do we got here for prospects?
Trade down to 29. Nah, we ain't doing that shit. Let's see. So
Kyle Hamilton. Yes, please. Anyone else against that one? At number 4
is there as well. If you want to look at offense, let's look a little bit here. Let's look at positions of need. Zion Johnson. I think this is probably a little too rich for him still. I mean, I know I've seen he probably has like a low first, early second round grade. There aren't really there's no guards that excite me right now. How about you?
No.
Center Tyler Linderbaum and Alec Lindstrom.
I mean, Tyler Linderbaum could be solid, but I personally don't want to pick a center at number 12, at least this year.
All right, someone in the chat, what position you guys thinking? You thinking corner? Edge rusher? What can we do? What can we do at edge right now? George Karlaftis is there. Defense. Okay, I agree with defense. David Diabo, Jermaine Johnson, Boye Mafe. If we could get him later, I'd be pumped.
I'm gonna say for sure, man. I go Hamilton 100% here. He's the best player available. I mean, I like Bynum, but Hamilton is like one of the best safeties to come into the draft in years since the boy Harry the Hitman, you know?
I don't know. Chat's saying corner. Is there a chance?
Corner over?
Is there a chance that Cameron Bynum could convert back to corner if we go Hamilton at safety? But I mean, if you look at corner,
maybe.
The guy we're talking about, Trent McDuffie's there. Kyer Elam is there.
See, I would pick McDuffie out of those 4 right now. What does everybody else think? Who do you think?
Are we feeling good on McDuffie?
I don't know, man.
Trade Harrison.
I'm gonna Hamilton's my guy. I don't know. Yeah. Kyle Hamilton, right?
Do you guys want to do
I mean,
Hamilton? I mean,
there's
he is
no
top,
way
he is
he lasts
DK.
that long in real life. He's the best case. I mean,
Hamilton is
you
overrated.
think
Ooh, we're
so?
getting some different opinions here.
At 12, I mean, he might be a little bit overrated, but
How are we feeling with McDuffie? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
McDuffie or Hamilton, that's going to be the decision here.
Yeah, starting now, let us know your comments. Who we get the most comments for, me and Jamie will start 1-on-1. I go McDuffie, he goes Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Size and speed for Hamilton. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll say that's 1 vote for Hamilton. So we're at 2-1 Hamilton. 3-1 Hamilton.
Yeah, baby. Hamilton's the guy here.
Closing it in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody else? Okay. All right.
Hamilton
It is. Let's do it. All right.
That's a steal and a half.
Kyle Hamilton, you are in Minnesota.
Someone would trade up for that.
Congratulations. Notre Dame played better opponents. Yeah, that's true. Kenny Pickett going 19 to the Saints. Okay.
18.
Matt Corral, 22. Jermaine Johnson went 28 to Green Bay. That's scary. McDuffie. Yeah, sorry. I'm with you, Craig, but you didn't do it. Sorry about that.
I'm picking Hamilton there.
Desmond Ridder, 41. Whoa, Desmond Ridder. No, I don't want to trade back that far.
We could have looked into some trade backs.
What is this? We don't want 2023. Chicago, leave us alone. All right. Who's left at corner? Oh, really exciting names there.
Kobe. Kyle Gordon's McDuffie's teammate.
What do we think? What are we thinking here?
What's available at edge?
Let's see. What's all Treylon Burks?
He's pretty solid, but we don't.
I hear a lot of good things about. I hear a lot of good things about Burks. Who's left at wide receiver? Burks, Christian Watson. Ooh, John Mechie the third. What? He's hurt. I know he had the knee injury, but ooh.
What do y'all think? What position do we go here? What do we got for guards?
We got a guard. Elam gone. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, Elam's gone. Right? Was he a corner? I should know these. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Wide receiver to replace Thielen.
We're going with the assumption that Thielen's still going to be on the team. Alec Lindstrom,
I think he'll be on the team.
Though, I mean, 86 overall prospect. We're at 46. Who's BPA right now? Treylon Burks. I don't need a running back. Drake Jackson, 40. That could be a solid pick.
Be an edge. Is there anyone else on here that who?
What are you thinking, Jamie?
Burks or Jackson? I think Burks is a good could be a really good receiver, and that's like a steal for him at that point. But man,
I'm kind of leaning Drake Jackson because, like we said,
it'd be a team.
Joe, I get that thought process, but we did mention beforehand that we are going with the assumption that Thielen will be on this team.
I think Thielen will be on
restructure.
I think he'll.
I'm liking Drake Jackson. We're picking right about where his prospect ranking is, if not a little bit below it. Edge rusher is a need. We've all kind of said the
McDuffie.
No guard.
Trade back for. We'll just make a trade for McDuffie right now.
No guard or center. What are we looking at? I do like the idea of Alec Lindstrom, but is there a chance? Where do we?
He could be there. In the
where do we pick next? We pick.
He might
77. He's 86 overall prospect, but he is a.
Plus, I think we have to remember Osborne is only 23, 20, 24, 23, something like that. I mean, he took a huge step this past year. I mean, that guy, and he has all the athleticism in the world, and I think had the highest catch percentage of all receivers in the slot. He could end up being. He could take another step this year and be that guy that we need at wide receiver post Thielen.
Right. Well, and we did say we're going into this with the assumption that Danielle Hunter stays on the team. So
that's true. What do you guys think? All right, let's do it. Drake Jackson or Treylon Burks?
Yep, those are the two options. I'm leaning towards Burks, actually.
I I mean, that would be the splash play on this.
Right. Yeah, what are we thinking? Burks or Jackson? That's who we're down to. So Christian, we'll go with yours. That's one vote for Drake Jackson. Jamie, who are you voting for? Burks. We got two.
Man.
We got 2 for Burks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Burks too. Why not?
Burks.
Just do it.
Gordon is good. Which one's that?
We're giving Kirk has 0 excuses next year if we get Burks. 0 excuses.
That's very true. Burks. Okay, we got a lot of people going for Burks here. Let's do it. Let's get sexy. Sexy time. Treylon Burks. God, just think about that though. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, if he's here, Jalen or Burks, and KJ Osborne, as well as Amir Smith-Marset. Damn. And Irv Smith Jr. We're sticking. I mean, we could mess around with trading up for some people, but I like the idea of stick and pick as well.
Yeah.
Alec Lindstrom is still
if
there,
we wanted McDuffie, we could have looked into trading back in that first round.
Are we thinking, is Alec Lindstrom going to make it to us at 77? He is.
He definitely did.
Reject.
5 wide. Let's
what
go.
Are we thinking?
Wait, Cousins is the quarterback.
Cousins is the quarterback. Fail.
I mean, at this point, all he has to do is get the ball out of his hands, and hopefully we have enough talent to get it.
Yeah. How are we thinking about? How are we feeling about Alec Lindstrom?
I like him.
Does he have guard flexibility?
Yeah, I'm liking that instantly.
I think aggressive footwork that allows him to react and counter
what's
against
there at cornerback.
In addition to the smooth footwork of quarterback. Nobody. Nothing there at quarter.
I say we go. Yeah, we go. Why Davis goes to guard? I
mean, unless there's any other interesting prospects here, because we do need a corner. We did kind of forget about that. When's our next pick?
Kyle Gordon.
Do we have another pick before the 3rd round's over? No, this is our last one. We could try to trade.
They didn't want to give us any compensation.
We're doing a 3-round draft. We could try to maneuver our way up. Yeah. How do we feel about Kyler Gordon? We do need a corner.
Maybe he was the better cornerback on that team the whole time.
History with dance and kung fu and ballet. Gordon is incredibly sticky in coverage. He flashes insane closing speed at catching point, and he hits. Ooh. How are we feeling? How about Kyler Gordon? How are we feeling about Kyler Gordon? Someone actually mentioned his name earlier. So if we could get him here, and then maybe we, since we're only doing a 3-round draft, maybe we package some picks and move up for the house
and go. Yep. Trade our next year's first to move back up in the 3rd round.
We will make it reasonable, but we feeling good about Kyler Gordon? Couple DBs.
I'll take them. We need cornerbacks
and an edge rusher. Let's do it. Ian? Anybody else? Anybody have any objections to Kyler Gordon or any other ideas? If I see nothing in the next 10 seconds here, we're going Gordon. Burks.
Ooh, got him already.
We did get Burks. All right, Kyler Gordon it is?
Yeah, let's pull the trigger.
Let's lock it in. And now let's see. I want to see how far we can get before. Oh, there goes Lindstrom. Never mind. We're done. Any other interesting players we could trade up for, though? I mean, at this point, I'm fine with just letting the round run out. We are stacked with talent at edge. I agree. Especially if Danielle Hunter stays, we got plenty there.
So, I mean, that's it. That's a 3-round draft right there.
Yeah. So should we just let it play out and finish it out?
Yeah. I mean, our secondary definitely took a boost with Gordon and Hamilton.
Yep.
And then
it's just got richer on Treylon Burks. Was it Treylon Burks? Am I getting his name right? I'm sorry.
I think so.
I mean, him being available there was too hard to pass up. I mean, it would have been nice to get the offensive line help. And I understand what people are saying. It's not going to, having no guard is going to be a little bit rough. But I mean, these 3 in the top 3 rounds, I'm in. Hamilton, Burks, and Gordon, that. You help your defense. You make that offense, if Kirk can figure it out, literally unstoppable. But we basically didn't take the needs. We took corner. Corner's a need. Safety, we both said was a depth need. But the fact
Kyle Hamilton could. I mean, he could step in and just be huge for that secondary. Even though I do think Bynum's going to be a stud.
Yeah. But
we got to do what we got to do.
I heard somebody say drafting for need keeps you drafting for need, which is very true. A lot of times you do got to take that best player available. 77 corner. He was ranked 73, so we technically got a deal on him. The only thing I would have probably liked to have taken, maybe, I don't know. but 46, especially since he waited till 83. Lindstrom felt a little bit too highly drafted at 46. So,
well, we could have picked him at 77.
Yeah,
we went Cott Gordon.
So I'm happy with this. I think this is a very good mock draft. You helped the defense out. The offense, it was too good to pass up on with BPA there. So,
I mean, any analyst would give us an A on that first round pick.
Bynum was a corner in college, right? But he was converted to a safety when we drafted him. So yeah, he might have some corner skill. You never know.
Yeah,
and he's good. Like you got to get your best players on the field. And he is a good player. So
yeah,
you never know. And especially, if something does happen with Harrison Smith, you got a guy to step in for him right there. So.
Exactly. I mean, Harrison Smith is only getting older. Kyle Hamilton, he could just be that future Harrison Smith, both from Notre Dame. I mean, come on, that Notre Dame tandem. It would be who else did we have from Notre Dame as a safety?
Harrison Smith.
It was I don't think he started, but
I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember. I don't remember who it is either.
Dang it, I don't remember.
But I'm happy with that draft. I think that's good. Solid draft.
But Quezzy's going to do better. Quezzy's going to do better.
He's still just getting his feet wet with this GM thing. So,
yeah.
Hey, yeah. Thank you. We agree. It was pretty sick. It's a sick draft. I hope that's what you meant. But yeah, I mean, it's like we said, it is a best, Burks was a best player available type deal there. It's hard to pass up on him. So yeah, I
mean, for noob drafters, it's, you see a good wide receiver, you just want to hit that button just to
right. And especially like Joe says, if Kirk, drives Justin Jefferson out of town, at least we have a replacement. But yeah, good draft.
I think, from here on, what do you think? Do you end this thing?
I think so. I think we had a good run here. So thanks for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're not already, remember to subscribe to the channel. As Jamie said, we do want to get into streaming. I hope you will not do a Rick trading down, getting like 10-4. Yeah, let's hope not. But yeah, remember to subscribe if you haven't. As Jamie said, we do want to do more live
videos.
We will be doing one for round one of the NFL draft.
Right.
So look forward to that.
Hit that bell so you can get the notifications and all that stuff to see when we're going live.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even if you want. GG Sports Podcast on all of them.
Right.
Yeah. And we're trying our best to do probably 3 videos a week, sometimes 4. The Kirk one, we get on the latest news if we can, if we're both available. So yeah, it's good stuff. And we really would appreciate subs and all that stuff. So be cool.
And just a reminder, we plan on going live for pretty much the entire first round during draft day. So hop on and we can chat during that and get excited and see what Quezzy's got. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So before we end off here, last time, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.
Skol Vikes.